Chapter 21-19 Purple Exotic Bios Supreme 4 Doctrine 9 Heaven God Doctrine. There was sword doctrine, knife doctrine, spear doctrine and whatever other doctrines there were. Jianghu Shuang could sense the sword doctrine he was an expert in most clearly and strongly. He also could sense spacetime doctrine and the reincarnation doctrine. The purple exotic beast embodied everything. No matter spacetime doctrine or the reincarnation doctrine, what I will be seeing is the complete doctrine. This. Jianghu Shuang took a deep breath. Unbelievable. He felt that this purple exotic beast was unbelievable. Who made these 12 altars? What exactly is that exotic beast? Jianghu Shuang muttered to himself as he looked at the beast. He was looking at the fundamental makeup of the beast and how the doctrine operated. That was derivation using doctrine as a foundation. He could clearly sense how a high form of power had been derived from the power of Heaven Way. The higher form of power was paramount to everything he knew. No form of doctrine could compare to this new power. Only through derivation could this power be formed from doctrine. Is that rules of order? Jianghu Shuang muttered to himself softly. He felt the high form of power. He understood how it had come about. Without a doubt they were the rules of order. Just like Emperor Bai said, even though he sensed rules of order from the purple exotic beast, he could not perceive them. What a pity. This had nothing to do with the ability to perceive. Even though the purple exotic beast contained rules of order, there was no way that one could perceive it. They could only experience it. Even though I could not perceive it, I could still benefit greatly if I understood the process. At least I know that in the future I will have an idea of how to perceive the rules of order. Jianghu Shuang smiled contentedly. After experiencing rules of order once, Jianghu Shuang had started to study the doctrine within the purple exotic beast. Reincarnation doctrine, spacetime doctrine and sword doctrine. This exotic beast embodied everything and I perceived it. Jianghu Shuang smiled and made a decision. He did not hope to have a big breakthrough and reach stage 3 or grasp rules of order on the altar. He decided he should use this short amount of time to improve his spacetime doctrine, reincarnation doctrine and sword doctrine. He would also use the pure energy to cultivate the second scroll of immemorial celestial body. My battle power has reached the brink of a stage 2 great emperor. As long as I improve my understanding of doctrine and successfully cultivate the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, my battle power will be that of a stage 3 great emperor. Jianghu Shuang thought as he clenched his fist. He calmed down and started meditating. At the same time, the other 11 emperor gods realized how magical this altar was. Unbelievable, this energy is so much purer than divine power. What is this mysterious energy? And that purple exotic beast, how could it embody all the doctrines? Emperor God Zhu Xian sat on the altar as his eyes brightened like never before. This is the real big opportunity. This will probably be the biggest and last opportunity in my life. I can't waste this. Meditate. Spare no effort to meditate. Waste not a single second. Back in the ancient past they have incredible means. I wonder which Almighty created this heaven-repairing palace. It's too amazing. Underworld God thought to himself. With the help of the altar, there is a high chance I will reach the realm of great emperor despite the short time I have. What is important is how strong I will be after I reach the level of great emperor. There is no hurry, I will take it slowly. Underworld God was absolutely confident. He was already very close to the realm of great emperor. All he needed was an opportunity which could be found everywhere within this heaven-repairing palace, which meant that it was almost confirmed that he would reach the realm of great emperor. Emperor God Lu Guang, Elder Qian and every other emperor god on the altar realized the opportunity the altar provided. They were overjoyed. Before long, they were concentrating on meditating and working towards the realm of great emperor. They were different from Jianghu Shuang. Jianghu Shuang planned to use the heaven-repairing palace to raise his own fighting power and understand the doctrine. The remaining emperor gods planned to use this opportunity to reach great emperor. The opportunity that heaven-repairing palace provided them with the conditions to do so. All that was left was their own ability. Heaven-repairing palace had only opened once since its discovery. This was the second time it had opened. The amount of resources needed to open this palace was unbelievable, so even the Sanctuary Alliance found it hard to bear with. Like for today's opening, Sanctuary Alliance had used nearly 60% of the resources it had accumulated over the ages. The remaining resources would not allow them to open this palace even if they wanted to. Every time the heaven-repairing palace was opened, it would last for a month. A month's time was very short, hence the people within the palace gave it their all. In a blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Jianghu Shuang, who sat on one of the altars in the darkness, opened his eyes. The purple exotic beast is beneficial for me. I meditated to all three of my doctrines, the spacetime doctrine, the reincarnation doctrine, and the sword doctrine. I managed to have a breakthrough for my reincarnation doctrine. Jian Wushuang smiled. Chapter 21:20 Incoming Enemy. Jian Wushuang's understanding of the reincarnation doctrine reached the 8th level within the Doctrine Palace but did not achieve any breakthrough. Even though he did not focus on the reincarnation doctrine with these conditions, he still managed to achieve a breakthrough, and his understanding reached the 9th level of the Doctrine Palace within just 3 days. Even though he was a genius, the main reason for this was because the purple exotic beast had helped him far too much. Continue. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes and continued meditating. In the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang and the group of emperor gods had been in the palace for half a month. Within this half a month it was very peaceful. This peace was about to be broken. In ancient Mystery Land, which was a distance away from the heaven-repairing palace, there was a plot of ordinary land. Even if one used their soul power to scan, they could not sense anything. In reality, within the depths of this land, there was a hidden formation. At this point in time, the formation was running. It caused the entire land to tremble lightly. Within moments, peace returned. However, figures appeared on the formation. There were around 30 people in black cloaks. The leader was a well-built man whose skin color was bronze and was over 2 meters tall. His aura was far stronger than everyone else's. If Jian Wushuang was here, he would be able to recognize him immediately. This man had fought with Jian Wushuang before. It was the Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Yu. 6 other men in black cloaks reached the realm of Great Emperor and had a terrifying aura. The remaining people were all emperor gods. This was probably the strongest line-up Acheron Palace had. 6 great emperors and 20 emperor gods led by a Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Yu. Their target was Heaven-Repairing Palace. Back then I set this formation in the ancient Mystery Land as a precautionary measure. Never did I think I would actually use it. Demon King Yu smiled devilishly. At every entrance to the ancient Mystery Land were experts from the Sanctuary Alliance standing guard. It was further reinforced with secret restrictions. It was impossible to sneak past undetected. Furthermore, if the ancient Mystery Land was still sealed, this formation would not work as well. Because of the exposure of Zisu and Vientiane Tower, I lost face in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. This time I will do it personally, as I cannot allow for any mishaps. I will not be able to have my influence in Holocaust Sect or 3 Emperors World anymore. Demon King Yu roared quietly. Yes. The experts from Acheron Palace nodded their heads and answered in unison. Their vision turned cold. Move out. Demon King Yu waved his hands as the 30 or so experts flew towards Heaven-Repairing Palace. Heaven-Repairing Palace looked like an ordinary palace. Even though the door was wide open, no one could enter as the 12 seats had all been filled. Before the palace was opened, Sanctuary Alliance had sent over 20 Almighty over to guard it. The 2 leaders were the Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor. Abysmal Saint Master, how many do you think can break through to the level of Great Emperor? East Royal Emperor chatted casually with the Abysmal Saint Master. No idea. When we were still clueless about the palace the previous time it was opened, we didn't choose the candidates carefully, and yet Colored Gaze and Jiu Qiao made it into the realm of Great Emperor. This time we spent so much effort choosing the candidates, the chances should be much better. There should at least be 3, even 4 if we are lucky. 3 or 4. Among the 12 who entered, Underworld God is the strongest. It is sure that he will make it into the realm of Great Emperors. Emperor God Tianling from Soaring Heaven King Palace is weaker to only to the Underworld God. He is also very talented and has a high chance of making it through. As for the remaining, it depends on their luck. That is true. But no matter what, Jian Wushuang will not make it, Abysmal Saint Master said. Is that not obvious? East Royal Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang was an inverse cultivator. How could he break through so easily? When they were having a casual chit-chat, in the space far away, a black cloud appeared. This cloud started becoming bigger as it approached the palace at a very fast speed. That is, the Abysmal Saint Master and the East Royal Emperor was aware of the approaching black cloud. They saw the true identity of the black cloud when used their soul power to scan it. It was a group of experts in black cloaks. These experts appeared instantaneously in front of them. Terrifying aura swept towards the Heaven-Repairing Palace. Oh no! They are from Acheron Palace. Abysmal Saint Masters and East Royal Emperor's faces turned pale. Damn it! How did the people from Acheron Palace came into the ancient Mystery Land? Aren't the entrances guarded by people and secret restrictions? Even if they forced their way through, there should have been a heads-up for us? The abysmal Sane Master yelled. He realized that these experts from Acheron Palace did not enter via the entrance. They must have came from other routes. Without giving them any more time to think, the experts in black cloaks approached them. Humph! The abysmal Saint Master snorted as he turned into darkness. The darkness turned into a large, dark vortex. A monstrous black beast charged out from within the vortex. Chapter 21 Crumbling, Roar. The black beast made a deafening roar. At that instant, the abysmal Saint Master erupted. He went all out. The leader of the group, the Demon King Qinyu, looked at the beast in disdain. Scram! Demon King Qinyu yelled as he took a step forward. His fist, surrounded by a thick demonic mist, punched out. A terrifying aura swept out. Boom! A thunderous sound reverberated as the dark beast the size of a small mountain exploded under the impact of the punch. At the same time, the dark vortex the abysmal Saint Master was in started to crumble with a bang. Whoosh! The abysmal Saint Master retreated and barely managed to balance himself once again. He was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. The difference between stage 2 and stage 3 is so big? The abysmal Saint Master looked at Demon King Qinyu in shock. He managed to break through to become a stage 2 emperor not long after he had left the 3 emperor world. He was slightly stronger than the Red Dragon King. Even so, he was helpless against the Demon King Qinyu who was in stage 3. Mayday, mayday. Heaven Repairing Palace is under attack. Acheron Palace has a stage 3 great emperor. East Royal Emperor and I are no match for him. Requesting help immediately. The abysmal Saint Master sent out a distress message. He knew that even if he asked for reinforcements now, the experts from Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance would need time to get there. During this period of time, could he and East Royal Emperor fend off the attackers? The answer was no. Humph. I will not waste time on trash like you. Demon King Qinyu looked abysmal Saint Master in the eye as he moved towards the Heaven Repairing Palace. Stop. The abysmal Saint Master yelled fiercely as the darkness shrouded him in an attempt to stop the Demon King in his tracks. Before he could get to the Demon King, he was stopped by 3 other great emperors. None of the 3 great emperors reached stage 2, but they could hinder his movements when they worked together. On the other side, the East Royal Emperor was in the same predicament as the abysmal Saint Master. He was surrounded by 3 great emperors. Damn it. The abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor did not look good. On the other hand, the Demon King Qinyu appeared in front of the Heaven Repairing Palace. Is this the Heaven Repairing Palace? According to legend, the palace was built at a great cost by a clan. It was a top-tier opportunity even back in the ancient past. It is a pity that such a place is now used by a group of people in the chaotic realm trying to break through. What a joke. I shall completely destroy it. Demon King Qinyu smiled coldly. He clenched his fist and punched outwards. Boom. It was a powerful punch, so powerful that everything between his fist and the palace exploded. A deafening sound was heard. The entire palace trembled and returned to normal after a while. Oh, it seems to be quite sturdy? That's right, this palace managed to survive that apocalyptic war, of course it should be sturdy. Demon King Qinyu was surprised, then he understood why. Since that is the case, a flash of ruthlessness flashed across his eyes before his aura rose to the peak. He was surrounded by demonic mist before he attacked once again. This time the Demon King Qinyu used both his hands. Boom, 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 boom. Punches with the power to kill an ordinary great emperor rained down on the palace. Under the frenzied assault, the palace started to tremble more and more. It threatened to collapse at any time. Within the Heaven Repairing Palace in the dark space, Jianghu sat quietly, meditating to the various doctrines and cultivating the second scroll of the immemorial celestial body. After half a month of meditation, his understanding of the spacetime doctrine and reincarnation doctrine improved significantly. Both his reincarnation doctrine and spacetime doctrine reached the 9th level within the Doctrine Palace, with the spacetime doctrine only one step away from turning into rules of order. As for his sword doctrine, his understanding had improved greatly. If he were to cast his sword principles such as sword principle Shen Luo, it would be much more powerful and brilliant. As for the second scroll of immemorial celestial body, this secret skill was of a very high level. If Jianghu were in the outside world, he would need a long time to successfully cultivate it. Now on the altar, with the help of the pure energy, his progress was fast. He was not far from success. He estimated he would need roughly 10 more days before he successfully cultivate the second scroll. If that was the case, his fighting power would skyrocket once again. He left after half a month inside the heaven-repairing palace. Under normal circumstances, he would have made it in time. Right then, boom. A thunderous boom exploded in his eardrums. A crack in space appeared in the dark space in which the 12 altars were located. That was just the beginning. Soon after, the boom started to become more regular. A large amount of space was destroyed as the 12 altars threatened to collapse at any time. What is going on? What is happening? Looks like someone is attacking the heaven-repairing palace from outside. Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor should be guarding the palace. Who dares to create this commotion? The 12 Emperor gods were surprised as they received a message from the Abysmal Saint Master. 7 great emperors from Acheron Palace attacked? As far as he knew, Sanctuary Alliance paid utmost attention to the opening of heaven-repairing palace this time. There were 2 great emperors guarding the palace personally. At the various entrances, there were secret restrictions and many almighties standing on guard, and yet the Acheron Palace managed to break through all these defenses. Chapter 21-22 Jian Wushuang's Retaliation. Looks like I underestimated the capabilities of the Acheron Palace. Jian Wushuang thought solemnly. He made a decision instantly. Whoosh. Jian Wushuang left the altar. He appeared in the dark space which was severely damaged. He scanned the emperor gods sitting at the other altars and said, "All of you continue to meditate and cherish this opportunity. Let me handle the commotion outside." He then left the 11 emperor gods behind and dashed out of the palace. There shouldn't be any problems since the Sword Emperor decided to handle the matter personally. Let us continue. Underworld God said before he closed his eyes. The remaining 10 emperor gods composed themselves and continued meditating. Outside the heaven-repairing palace, Demon King Chenyu was still in a frenzy, throwing punches at the palace. The palace looked like it was going to collapse at any moment. None of the experts from Sanctuary Alliance could stop him as he rained down punches ruthlessly on the palace. Right then, whoosh, a beam of light burst forth from within the palace. The moment it appeared, a terrifying sword aura swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang had fire in his eyes. Divine power raged all around as Blood Mountain Sword turned into lightning and slashed towards Demon King Chenyu. With his current power level, even a casual slash was very powerful to the point a stage 3 great emperor like Demon King Chenyu would be threatened. Ha! Demon King Chenyu frowned. His fist changed its target from the palace to the sword light. Clang! The collision between flesh and metal made a thunderous sound. After the collision, Demon King Chenyu staggered while Jian Wushuang took 3 steps back. While Jian Wushuang was moving back uncontrollably. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 7 beams of golden light glowed. Every beam of light was a sword which contained great power. They were his Hongjun golden swords. Before Jian Wushuang entered the heaven-repairing palace, his understanding of the spacetime doctrine had limited him to being able to command only 6 of these swords. After half a month of intense cultivation, his understanding had reached the peak of the 9th level within the Doctrine Palace, hence he was able to command the 7th sword. The 7 Hongjun golden swords were like 7 shooting stars. They streaked across the space and appeared in front of Demon King Chenyu together. Humph! Demon King Chenyu grunted as demonic mist surrounded him. His right hand enlarged and encompassed all 7 swords. With a bang, the 7 swords flew backwards. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark upon seeing this. Demon King Chenyu has grasped a little of rules of order. He is much stronger than me if he uses his power together with his secret skills. Each slash by any of my 7 swords has the power of a top-tier stage 2 great emperors. However, he simply used his fist and punched all swords away. This power? It's a pity that he has come too early. If he came 10 days later, I would have successfully celestial immemorial body. Using that power, it would be much easier to deal with him, Jian Wushuang muttered. The immemorial celestial body would not only make his diving body stronger, but also strengthen his Boda's self-defense mechanism. He should also experience a leap in the quantity and quality of his divine power. When he had first cultivated the first scroll of the immemorial celestial body, the quality of his divine power had increased 3-fold. Even though the 2nd scroll would not have such a crazy leap, there would still be a leap in his power. Using that insane divine power, he could match Demon King Chenyu in power without even grasping rules of order. However, the fact was that he had not cultivated the 2nd scroll of immemorial celestial body, hence his fighting power was not at that level. Even though my fighting power is lower, I can still fight him head-on using the unique properties of an inverse cultivator. Jian Wushuang thought as a glimpse of sternness flashed across his eyes. Jian Wushuang? It's you again. Killing intent spew forth when Demon King Qinyu saw him. He hated Jian Wushuang to the core. At first, Jian Wushuang had ventured into the Three Emperors world and destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone. This had caused their plan of using the Supreme Emperor Stone to destroy the eternal chaotic world to fail. Then Jian Wushuang had helped to expose Ziza's true identity as a spy. Jian Wushuang had used himself as bait and deduced that there was a spy among the higher-ups within the Sanctuary Alliance. The reason why the spies among Sanctuary Alliance were found and killed were largely due to him. Lastly, the reason why the plan for the special tribes had failed was also due to Jian Wushuang. This meant that the reason why the Acheron Palace had failed over and over again was because of him. This was also the reason why he had been shamed in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. Looks like it's my lucky day. You managed to escape the other time in the Three Emperors world, but you won't be so lucky this time around. What a joke. You couldn't even kill me the previous time. This time you probably can't even fight me head-on. Jian Wushuang said coldly as he attacked. Ah, you've got guts. Demon King Qinyu fought back, excited. He completely ignored the heaven-repairing palace. Compared to the Emperor gods, Jian Wushuang posed a bigger threat to the Three Emperors world. He was an inverse cultivator like Emperor Bai with terrifying growth. If this were to continue, he could become the second Emperor Bai. Killing him would mean much more than killing the Emperor gods within the heaven-repairing palace. Demon King Qinyu was confident about being able to kill Jian Wushuang. Back in the Three Emperors world, the reason Jian Wushuang had survived was because Emperor Bai had arrived on time to save Jian Wushuang. Another reason was because all Jian Wushuang did was run. Now that Emperor Bai was not around, no one could stop him. Furthermore, Jian Wushuang did not show any signs of wanting to escape and wanted to fight him straight on. How could he miss such a precious chance? Die, Jian Wushuang. Demon King Qinyu roared as 6 more arms grew to make up a total of 8. Chapter 21-23 Battle against Demon King Qinyu. The Demon King Qinyu suddenly exploded in size and was 10 feet tall. His skin completely turned into bronze and each of his 8 hands gripped a different weapon. Sword, bats, mirrors, seals. At the same time, a vertical third eye slowly opened in between his eyebrows. It was charming but released red light. At that moment, all 8 of his arms swung at Jian Wushuang. Each arm gripped tight of the respective weapons as each attack brought about limitless demonic aura. Jian Wushuang had experienced the power of these weapons firsthand before. He dared not to be careless. Humph! Jian Wushuang grunted as his divine body grew in size. Arms started to grow out of his body. His giant divine body looked like a giant vortex that swallowed everything there was. A special sword essence of Gale boiled. Sword principle Shen Luo. Mixed elements spirit. Sword light swept out in all directions. Qian Wushuang had improved greatly over the course of half a month when he had meditated to the purple exotic beast within the heaven-repairing palace. His understanding of the various doctrines and his sword skills had increased greatly. When he cast sword principle Shen Luo, not only was it more powerful, the entire process had been much smoother and seemed more natural. Clang, 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 clang. Sounds of metals crashing together rang out loud as the monstrous aura swept uncontrollably outwards. Jian Wushuang fought the Demon King Qinyu head-on. His divine power was boiling. Within a second, both had exchanged blows at least 100 times. Using his 8 arms and weapons, Demon King Qinyu attacked in a frenzy with incredible power. However, Jian Wushuang had managed to parry all the attacks without fail using sword principle Shen Luo. He was unharmed. When I last fought this brat, he was battered and exhausted. This time he was able to hold his ground well. Demon King Qinyu thought coldly. A vicious aura then erupted and swept out in all directions. A ray of blood-red light burst forth from his third eye between his eyebrows. This light was excellent, glaring and fast. At such a short distance, its sudden appearance did not allow Jian Wushuang to have any time to defend against it. The blood-red light penetrated his body and went straight for his soul. Haha, soul attack. It would probably threaten or kill me if it was cast back in the Three Emperors world. But now, Jian Wushuang laughed in disdain. He was different from when he was still in the Three Emperors world. Ever since he had refined the soul-swallowing pearl, the strength of Jian Wushuang's soul had improved significantly. His soul was no longer his weakness. It had become his advantage instead. The power of the blood-red light was reduced when it passed through the 5-gem armor. The remaining power was diminished by over 90% before it finally broke through all the defenses and crashed into his soul. There was a slight jerk in his consciousness before it returned to normal. Just by looking at him, he seemed to be unaffected. Die. Demon King Qin charged after the blood-red light shot out of the eye on his forehead. The power of the 8 divine weapons were fully utilized, and the most terrifying among them was a blood-red slash. The powerful attack had Jian Wushuang completely surrounded. Demon King Qin thought that even if Jian Wushuang were able to block the attacks, he could not do so as there would be a blank in his consciousness after the soul attack. In reality, the unique sword essence swept over Jian Wushuang as he cast Mixed Element Spirit, a move from Sword Principal Xian Luo. He managed to block the attacks easily. The powerful force barely managed to force him to take a few steps back. He blocked it. Demon King Qin was surprised. Jian Wushuang regained his balance and smirked. Demon King Qin, that move was decent. It is a pity that you cannot harm me. Now try this. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold as the sword essence he radiated changed. The essence before was unrestricted and felt like it could devour everything. At that instant, it felt like it had become the supreme power in this world. A will of the emperor that surpassed even that of the 9th heaven swept out in all directions. Jian Wushuang held the Blood Mountain sword with 4 of his arms. A huge amount of divine power and bloodline power was transfused into the sword steadily. He grew in size. At that moment, it was as though Jian Wushuang had morphed into a supreme emperor, and the sword that he was holding high was the emperor's sword. King Sword Principle. It was the most powerful secret skill that Jian Wushuang had. However, King Sword Principle was a poorly offensive skill. Furthermore, it needed time to channel. This was a skill used only when people wanted to use their ultimate skill head-on. On the other hand, Sword Principal Xian Luo was a skill best used in close-quarter battles. Jian Wushuang could only cast the first move of the King Sword Principle for a long time. Even so, the power was still incredible. Now, after half a month of meditating within the Heaven Repairing Palace, there was a leap in his understanding of sword doctrine and sword skills. This allowed him to cast the second move in the King Sword Principle. The move that Jian Wushuang had cast was the second move in King Sword Principle. Die. Jian Wushuang yelled as he slashed his sword downwards. The power had already accumulated to the maximum. This slash split the sky. The entire space was split into 2 right away. Wherever the sword slash passed, it erased everything. Blah. The powerful slash appeared in front of the Demon King Qin. His iris constricted when he saw this move. He knew that just based on power alone, this attack without a doubt had already reached the power level of a stage 3 great emperor. This brat. Demon King Qin swung the arm which was holding the large black bat ferociously. Boom. A mighty shadow of a black bat appeared in the space and crashed into the slash. Chapter 21-24 The Final Hope Bang. A deafening bang reverberated in the air. When the 2 attacks met, the space around cracked as though it was made of paper. After the clash, Jian Wushuang backed off immediately. As for Demon King Qin, he too took 3 steps back. After the 3 heavy steps, Demon King Qin raised his head and looked at the Demon King Qin and frowned. This brat managed to force me to back off? Even though he had the upper hand in this clash, it was very small. Most importantly, the sword light forced him back. This meant that Jian Wushuang had the power to threaten him. Demon King Qin, that is your maximum power? Jian Wushuang stood in the air as he smiled at Demon King Qin coldly. Rage filled his heart before he had his temper back in control. This brat has an extraordinary power level. It is almost impossible for me to kill him alone. My target this time is the Heaven Repairing Palace. There is no need for me to waste my time on him. Demon King Qin thought. He moved after he made up his mind. This time he did not move towards Jian Wushuang. His target was the Heaven Repairing Palace. Jian Wushuang frowned when he saw this. Take this, Demon King Qin. Jian Wushuang roared as his deep voice reverberated through the battlefield. Dark jade light burst forth from the 9 ancient god stars on top of his forehead as the divine power around him boiled. Ancient god secret skills, moon-picking skill. Heaven and earth shook as the space around Demon King Qin started to constrict. As for Jian Wushuang's current power level, the moon-picking skill could restrain even people like Demon King Qin to a great extent. This secret skill, Demon King Qin was surprised. A large, soft hand started to float towards him, as though a mother was about to touch her baby. This large hand made Demon King Qin cautious as he sensed danger. Based on its power, it was even stronger than the sword skill that Jian Wushuang had cast. Even though Jian Wushuang is not a stage 3 great emperor, he still has many tricks up his sleeves, Demon King Qin thought as he turned even more ferocious. Blah. Monstrous clouds of demonic mist filled the sky instantly. Scram. The space-time which constrained him exploded with a roar as he swung the blade he held in one of his hands. A mirage of a colossal blade appeared and descended upon everyone. It tore everything in its way apart. It instantly ripped the hand apart. Jian Wushuang's offense disintegrated instantly. His purpose was not to injure Demon King Qinyu, but to halt him for a brief moment when the Demon King was parrying the attack. At that instant, Jian Wushuang dashed in front of Demon King Qinyu. "Demon King Qinyu, let us have a rematch." Jian Wushuang mocked. A unique sword essence could be felt radiating from him as he managed to cut off the Demon King. As for his current power level and sword principle Xianluo, he had no problem stopping Demon King Qinyu. Jian Wushuang managed to block the fury of attacks by the angry Demon King Qinyu, stopping him from getting closer to the heaven-repairing palace. Damn it! Demon King Qinyu's blood boiled as he yelled at everyone who was around him. "What are all of you doing? Go and destroy the heaven-repairing palace and kill everyone around here." Upon hearing this, the experts from Acheron Palace attacked. This time, Acheron Palace not only sent a Stage 3 Great Emperor, Demon King Qinyu, but almost every single expert they had. There were 6 Great Emperors. These 6 Great Emperors simply kept Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor occupied. In reality, not all 6 Great Emperors needed to be there to get the job done. Hence, 3 Great Emperors broke away and headed towards the heaven-repairing palace. Oh no! The Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor turned pale. However, they could not do anything to stop them. Jian Wushuang, who was fighting Demon King Qinyu, was aware of the situation around the battlefield. He grunted as he pulled out an old mirror. He used his divine power and summoned 5 figures with powerful auras from the mirror. 5 war spirits stopped them. Jian Wushuang ordered the war spirits. The 5 war spirits dashed towards the great emperors immediately and used all their might. The 5 war spirits were like 5 great emperors. They stopped the 3 great emperors immediately. "Nice one, Sword Emperor. Never would I have thought that the Sword Emperor would have such an amazing treasure." The Abysmal Saint Master, East Royal Emperor and everyone else heaved a sigh of relief. It was already amazing that Jian Wushuang could possess such a treasure which allowed him to have 5 great emperors as helpers. However, Jian Wushuang's face was still solemn, even though the 3 great emperors had stopped. 5 war spirits from the 5 fire godly spirit mirror indeed have the fighting power of a Stage 1 great emperor and can stop the few great emperors. However, there are many emperor gods this time, Jian Wushuang muttered to himself. Indeed, there were around 20 emperor gods apart from the 7 great emperors led by Demon King Qinyu. Among these emperor gods, there were 8 who were top-tier emperor gods. The remaining were also very close to that power level. On the side of the Sanctuary Alliance were little experts on guard. The quality of these experts were also not good compared to the Acheron Palace. At the start they could barely stop the invaders. Now they were completely oppressed. Many of the emperor gods from Acheron Palace had freed themselves and started attacking the heaven-repairing palace. These emperor gods would have posed no problems on a normal day. However, no matter Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master or East Royal Emperor could not free themselves to deal with them. Only one of the war spirits could find the chance to go and stop those emperor gods. However, that would not be effective as there were too many emperor gods. Soon, these emperor gods appeared in front of the heaven-repairing palace and started to attack the palace with all their might. Even though the power level was nothing compared to the Demon King Qinyu, the heaven-repairing palace was already severely damaged by Demon King Qinyu and was at the brink of collapsing. Even though the attacks were not very powerful, they could still potentially destroy the palace once and for all. Chapter 21-25 The 2 men who broke through. Boom. 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 Waves of attacks were being cast by the emperor gods as they crashed heavily on the heaven-repairing palace. After all these attacks, the palace started to shake vigorously. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang's eyes turned cold. He was facing a choice. The choice of whether to cast his soul attack. Since the start of the battle, Jian Wushuang had not cast his soul attack no matter how his battle went against Demon King Qinyu. In reality, his soul attack was extremely powerful even without casting any soul attack secret skills or with the help of Soul Swallowing Pearl. His soul attack was powerful enough to threaten a Stage 2 Great Emperor. Now that he had mastered 3 Divine Lights, a soul attack secret skill from the ancient past, his soul attacks would be very powerful and destructive. Even though he could not free himself in his battle with Demon King Qinyu, soul attacks were very bizarre and could directly affect the emperor gods. Once he had cast soul attack, it could instantly kill all emperor gods who were attacking the heaven-repairing palace. However, once he did this, his trump card would be made clear. Soul-swallowing pearl and his soul attack were trump cards that he wanted to hide. Emperor Bai also reminded him personally to not use this trump card unless absolutely necessary, as it could be of great use and greatly damage the opponents during the final battle against the Three Emperors world. The element of surprise would be lost if this trump card was revealed early to the Three Emperors world. Hence, Jian Wushuang was hesitant. In this scenario, if I do not use my soul attack to kill these Emperor gods, Heaven Repairing Palace might be destroyed. The huge cost that the Sanctuary Alliance incurred would go to waste. Jian Wushuang thought as he made his decision. Looks like I have to use this move. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath. It looked like he was still keeping Demon King Chen Yu occupied and stopped him from having any way to attack. Jian Wushuang was preparing his soul attack secretly. Right when he was about to cast soul attack, whoosh, whoosh, two figures, one after another, dashed out from within the palace. At the same time, two overbearing auras filled the entire battlefield. Jian Wushuang looked at the two figures immediately. One of them was a middle-aged man who wore a green shirt, while the other was a young man with white hair and eyes. Both of them looked around coldly. They were Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. The auras that radiated from both of them were far more powerful than that of an Emperor God, especially an Underworld God. His aura was on par with a Stage 2 Great Emperor Abysmal Saint Master. They broke through? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor too were elated. Indeed, both of them had broken through. They were already at the brim of the Emperor God realm. With the help of Heaven Repairing Palace, it was almost guaranteed for them to reach the realm of Great Emperor. Both of them wanted to get more opportunities within the Heaven Repairing Palace, so they were not in a rush to break through. Like Underworld God, he could have broken through on the 5th day in the palace. He did not waste time on breaking through, as he knew he could do so even after he left the palace. Instead, he spent the time meditating. Emperor God Tianling could have broken through on the 12th day in the palace. Both of them wanted to benefit more from the palace. However, they felt that the Heaven Repairing Palace was in danger, and hence both of them made the decision on the spot to break through. Now they stood in front of everyone as great emperors. Humph, bastards from Acheron Palace. Underworld God scanned the battlefield coldly as he fixed his gaze on the Emperor gods attacking the palace frenziedly. Immediately, boom. It looked like a simple step, but the Underworld God was like a large, demonic beast as he appeared in the middle of these Emperor gods. Waves of green light engulfed everyone around. Those lights were sharp claws, each with the ability to tear heaven and earth apart. Oh no! When the Emperor gods reacted, their faces turned pale. They had no time to block the attack. Buffed, buffed, buffed. Terrifying power killed 6 Emperor gods straight away. After Underworld God attacked, Emperor God Tianling was not too far behind. A black spear appeared out of nowhere from behind one of the great emperors. It had an incredible aura and terrifying destructive power as it targeted the heart. No! The great emperor from Acheron Palace was shocked. He was in the middle of a heated battle against one of the war spirits and did not expect a spear to come out of nowhere. This powerful spear had appeared too suddenly. Even though the great emperor tried his best to shift his body to the side to avoid striking the heart, the spear still collided hard with his divine body. Puff! A mouthful of blood came out of his mouth as he turned extremely pale. A top-tier Stage 1 Great Emperor. This great emperor backed off immediately, staring at Emperor God Tianling in the eye as he was severely injured. Emperor God looked at his prey coldly as he continued his attack. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master and East Royal Emperor were relieved. The reactions of the experts from the Acheron Palace were quite the opposite. Fear was written all over their faces. Originally, at the Great Emperor level, the lineup had been even as each was preoccupied by another person of similar power level. This was why the Emperor gods could attack the palace. Now, with the addition of Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling, the balance was broken. Underworld God, who had the power level of a Stage 2 Great Emperor, charged into the lines of Acheron Palace and started a massacre. The tides of the battle turned once these two men entered the battle. Now, Sanctuary Alliance had the absolute advantage against both Great Emperors and Emperor gods. The experts from Acheron Palace could no longer threaten the Heaven Repairing Palace. What was left to do for Jian Wushuang and his friends was for them to try their best and kill the remaining experts from Acheron Palace. Chapter 21-26 Desperate Measures. Kill them all. East Royal Emperor eyes were bloodshot as he fought a great emperor from Acheron Palace with a war spirit. Since all of you dare to come to Heaven Repairing Palace, you should be prepared to die. The Abysmal Saint Master screamed. He turned into a dark beast and fully displayed his stage 2 great emperor fighting power. He managed to suppress 2 great emperors from Acheron Palace. Underworld God killed most of the emperor gods and began focusing on his attacks on a great emperor from Acheron Palace. The great emperor retreated as the underworld god used his stage 2 great emperor fighting power. Emperor God Tianling continued to chase the great emperor which he had wounded as he got closer to killing him. The last great emperor was in the worst state as he was being attacked by 4 war spirits. As for Demon King Qinyu, he was occupied by Jianghu Shuang and had no chance to help his other teammates. Damn all of you brats. Demon King Qinyu's eyes were bloodshot as a terrifying killing intent radiated from him. He was burning with rage as the 8 divine weapons swung around crazily in an attempt to kill Jianghu Shuang. However, his efforts were in vain as he could not even harm Jianghu Shuang. Jianghu Shuang could stop all his attacks using mixed element spirit from the sword principle Shenluo alone. Even though he was passive and felt sullen, he did not mind at all. As for the current situation, the Sanctuary Alliance had an advantage. Lord Demon King, I cannot hold on much longer. Lord Demon King, let's retreat. Lord Demon King. Many urgent calls came from all around the battlefield as the great emperors from Acheron Palace could not hold their ground much longer. It was natural given the large gap in their power levels. Even though each great emperor had the ability to survive the most dire situations, that was only applicable if they were running away. Now they were obviously at a disadvantage. If they did not run, they were simply awaiting their death. Bastard! Hearing the surrounding voices, Demon King Qinyu was angered even more. Acheron Palace had already failed many times. I have lost face in front of Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. This time, Acheron Palace has already sent almost every expert it had. I even came down personally to take charge. If we were to fail again, my dignity and that of the Acheron would cease to exist and we would become a joke in the eyes of Holocaust sect. This time we cannot fail. Kill. Continue to kill. If all else fails, cast soul ignition. Demon King Qinyu roared as his voice blasted out loudly over the battlefield. Hearing this, the experts from Acheron Palace were shocked. Under these circumstances, Demon King Qinyu was still prioritizing his dignity? He asked them to give it their all and cast soul ignition? The experts from Acheron Palace were stunned as their faces turned dark. Under normal circumstances, they would be willing to give it their all. But soul ignition? Everyone knew that one would definitely die if they cast soul ignition. All the experts from Acheron Palace had taken a very long time to reach where they were right now. Who would die willingly? Most importantly, even if they risked their lives, they still might not be able to turn the tides of this battle, or even kill a few great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance. Furthermore, even if they could kill a few great emperors or destroy the Acheron Palace to disrupt the plans of Sanctuary Alliance, it would cost them 6 great emperors. It was not a worthy trade. If they died this way, there would be no value or meaning in their deaths. Who would be willing to do something like this? Hence, the experts from Acheron Palace fell quiet after hearing the roar from Demon King Qinyu. None of them chose to cast soul ignition. The experts that Acheron Palace left in the ancient mystery land transmitted a message to Demon King Qinyu. Lord Demon King, the reinforcements from Sanctuary Alliance arrived at the ancient mystery land. There are a total of 6 great emperors and countless almighties. They will reach Heaven Repairing Palace soon. Demon King Qinyu's face turned dark when he received this message. He was not surprised by this. The ancient mystery land was within the eternal chaotic world and was under the control of the Sanctuary Alliance. The experts guarding Heaven Repairing Palace would definitely request reinforcement from Sanctuary Alliance when they were under attack. Sanctuary Alliance would send experts to reinforce immediately. He planned to destroy the Heaven Repairing Palace and kill some experts from Sanctuary Alliance and flee before the reinforcements could arrive. What actually happened was the Heaven Repairing Palace was not destroyed, but the reinforcements were already arriving. He would be salty if he had to leave this way. Brat, you forced me to do this. Demon King Qinyu roared as a terrifying demonic mist boiled all around him. At the same time, streaks of blood-red secret restrictions lit up as they covered his whole body. He looked like he was made entirely out of blood. At the same time, the aura he had grew to a whole new level. This is... Jianghu Shuang was shocked. He could deduce that Demon King Qinyu had used another secret skill to boost his power, and not soul ignition. Demon King Qinyu was risking his life and giving his all. A stage 3 great emperor chose to risk his life? How strong would he be then? Jianghu Shuang then experienced it firsthand. Die. 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 Demon King Qinyu roared with rage as his 8 arms swung the divine weapons at Jianghu Shuang. It approached Jian Wushuang from every possible angle. The speed and power of the attacks had reached a whole new level. Jian Wushuang looked gloomy. Divine power boiled as he cast his sword skills again fearlessly. Boom, 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 boom. Waves of deafening collisions shook the entire battlefield. With each collision, Jian Wushuang grunted. With the sudden growth in power, Jian Wushuang took even more effort to fend off the attacks. After barely fending off these attacks, the aftershock of the attacks still managed to hurt him even though the 5-gem armor had neutralizing effects. Jian Wushuang's current divine body was extremely powerful, yet the aftershocks of Demon King Chen Ye's attack could still harm him. This proved how powerful the attacks were. Chapter 21-27 The Salty Demon King Chen Yu. The terrifying onslaught continued. The fighting power that Demon King Chen Yu displayed shocked Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God and everyone around. They knew they could not even fend off one attack at that level. However, Jian Wushuang could fight the Demon King head-on single-handedly without backing off at all. Demon King Chen Yu could not deal with Jian Wushuang even after he had risked his life and given his all. His face was dark. After many collisions, the aura radiating from Jian Wushuang did not weaken at all. Under the fury of attacks, Jian Wushuang was unharmed? This brat. Demon King Chen Yu gritted his teeth and thought. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang was actually hurt. After each collision, his divine body would be hurt. However, his divine power would heal the injury instantly. This caused the illusion that Jian Wushuang was completely unhurt. This was how overpowered the perfect chaotic holy body in the 7th step of inverse cultivation was. Demon King Chen Yu could not do much to Jian Wushuang. Furthermore, Chen Yu? Another message came through. This time, Demon King Chen Yu was surprised as the person sending the message was Kaiser Blood. Chen Yu, leave immediately. Emperor Bai is headed your way. Kaiser Blood said urgently. Demon King Chen Yu did not care about the 6 great emperors who were coming to assist. There was no way they could hurt him. However, this was not the case for Emperor Bai. He had fought Emperor Bai head-on before. He clearly knew how powerful and scary that man was. The last time they had fought in the 3 Emperors world, he had some confidence. However, this time they were fighting in the ancient mystery land, in the territory of Emperor Bai. His life would be at risk if he was overwhelmed by Emperor Bai and the experts from both the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. Even though Demon King Chen Yu was extremely unwilling to retreat, he dared not stay. He took a deep breath and shouted, "Retreat!" His voice reverberated across the battlefield. He had originally attacked Jian Wushuang in a frenzy. Now he backed off quickly. The experts from the other battlefield had long reached their limit. Now they heard the command to retreat. They heaved a sigh of relief and started to retreat. Humph. You do not simply come and go at will. Chase them and kill them all. Jian Wushuang commanded coldly. Whoosh. Jian Wushuang turned into a shooting star and started the chase. Kill. Kill. Kill them all. Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling and East Royal Emperor chased alongside Jian Wushuang. As for the 5 war spirits, Jian Wushuang recalled them to the 5 fire godly spirit mirror. The experts from the 2 different sides started a game of cat and mouse. They flew across the ancient battlefield at amazing speed. Jian Wushuang and his allies had a very strong killing intent as they chased the people running quickly. Within the ancient battlefield, they had no additional consideration as it was under the control of Sanctuary Alliance. The situation was different for the experts from Acheron Palace. The 6 great emperors from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance have already entered the ancient battlefield. I have already messaged the others to see if they will stop the bastards from Acheron Palace in time, Abysmal Saint Master said, giving chase. Jian Wushuang's face turned dark. He knew clearly that there had to be a wormhole within the ancient battlefield. There would be no way that the experts from Acheron Palace could sneak past the various defenses that Sanctuary Alliance had put in place otherwise. Now these experts from Acheron Palace were heading towards the wormhole. They had no idea where the wormhole was, or whether the reinforcements could stop the intruders in time. It doesn't matter how many I can kill, I have to try and kill some of the people from Acheron Palace, Jian Wushuang said emotionlessly. All of the bastards from Acheron Palace should die. Underworld God roared with great killing intent. His eyes were filled with anger. Underworld God hated Acheron Palace greatly. He hated them not just because they were part of the 3 Emperors world. More importantly, they had tried to assassinate him before the eternal chaotic world was aware of the crisis. When he had just broken through and become an Emperor God and displayed great potential, Acheron Palace judged that there was a high possibility that he would become one of the higher-ups in the Sanctuary Alliance. Hence, they had planned an assassination once they received news that he had broken through. For Underworld God, he barely survived the assassination. More importantly, his master, whom he respected greatly, had died in the process. Underworld God could not forget this grudge even though years had passed. Now he had finally broken through and become a great emperor and faced Acheron Palace once again. Kill. Kill them all. Underworld God roared. Emperor God Tianling and East Royal Emperor God at the side wanted to kill the experts from Acheron Palace badly. The chase lasted half an hour. During this time, Emperor Bai arrived at the ancient battlefield and was finding his way to get to the experts from Acheron Palace. The experts from Acheron Palace finally reached the space which hid the formation. The hidden formation was already operating at full force. The camouflage was gone as it appeared in front of everyone. There were 4 Emperor Gods in black cloaks who Demon King Chenyu specially left behind to receive him. They were the few who activated the formation. The wormhole was ready and the experts from Acheron Palace simply needed to step inside. Faster! Demon King Chenyu shouted as he and the other 6 great emperors dashed forward at their fastest speed. The distance between the 7 people and the wormhole was shortening. Oh no! The experts from Sanctuary Alliance all had black faces. Jian Wushuang knitted his eyebrows tightly. No matter what, I have to kill some of them. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth. At his forehead were 9 ancient god stars which were radiating jade-black light. 2 of the topmost stars suddenly disintegrated. Jian Wushuang casted Star Destruction skill, and he destroyed 2 ancient god stars. Ancient god secret skill. Moon-picking skill. Rumble. Jian Wushuang's bloodline power erupted after using Star Destruction skill. He cast Moon-picking skill right away using this powerful energy. The oppressive spacetime started to suppress the 7 men who were running away. Chapter 21-28 Double Loss. The complete moon-picking skill was absolutely formidable. The only question Jian Wushuang had was whether the skill could suppress 7 people at the same time, 3rd stage Great Emperor Demon King Chenyu included. Desperate, he had to crush 2 ancient god stars to increase his bloodline power, amplifying the skill's powers. Heaven and earth, space and time were all being suppressed. The 7 people, Demon King Chenyu included, who were about to jump into the wormhole instantly stopped. What is this? They were all frightened except Demon King Chenyu. Die. The experts from the Sanctuary Alliance took this opportunity, while the 7 were being suppressed, to make their way towards them. All of them made their moves in a frenzy. The great emperors who were being suppressed could not block the attacks. A terrifying roar resonated sequentially, and boundless power was being dispersed. The suppression only lasted for a moment before it disappeared. Run! A great emperor from the Archelon Palace gave a loud roar. They had no intention of getting into an intense fight with the Sanctuary Alliance experts, and all made a run for the wormhole. Shio. 4 figures jumped into the wormhole. Finally it was quiet. The wormhole was already activated. In front of it, Jian Wushuang levitated without a word. It's a pity a few of them got away, the Abysmal Saint Master snorted. There's nothing we can do about it. Those great emperors had impressive skills up their sleeves. Without the Sword Emperor's time-space suppression and constriction, they would all have run away, East Royal Emperor said. Indeed. If a great emperor wanted to escape, it would be extremely difficult to take him down. But with Jian Wushuang's moon-picking skill constricting the heavens, earth, space and time itself, and with such intensity, even a great emperor could not resist. It was also because of that skill that the Archelon Palace suffered its own fair share of losses at the last minute. Regardless, we of Sanctuary Alliance did not suffer too much of a loss this time. On the contrary, this was our victory, Jian Wushuang said. Our victory? The surrounding great emperors looked at each other, all smiles. Even the cold and indifferent Emperor God Tianling had a smile on his face. In front of them were 3 cold corpses floating. From the looks of it, they were all great emperor-level experts from the Archelon Palace. Counting Demon King Chenyu, there were 7 great emperors. But now they had taken down 3, all thanks to Jian Wushuang's moon-plucking skill, leaving them vulnerable when they were cut down. The Archelon Palace had poured their resources into this battle with the intention of destroying the Heaven-repairing palace and killing Sanctuary Alliance experts. But in the end, the palace had not been destroyed, and the Sanctuary Alliance had only lost a few Sir Gods and Emperor Gods, but the Archelon Palace had lost all their Emperor Gods and 3 great emperors. This battle was definitely the Sanctuary Alliance's victory. Shio. Experts from the Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance all started pouring in, along with 6 great emperors and many almighties. Soon after, Emperor Bai came down personally. When those experts saw the 3 corpses, they were all stunned but immensely glad. 3 great emperors. The entire 3 emperors world, along with the Archilon Palace, only had a handful of great emperors. This was definitely a major setback for them. Not only did they fail in their mission, but they had lost so many people as well during the battle. The ancient mystery land was always in Sanctuary Alliance's control. We never expected the Archilon Palace to place such a formation without a trace. Emperor Bai waved his hand, and soon the formation the Archilon Palace had left behind started to fall apart. "Come, let's go to the Heaven Repairing Palace," Emperor Bai said. The Heaven Repairing Palace was on the verge of collapsing after the destruction Demon King Chenyu had caused, but soon it was restored to its previous position. The Emperor gods were still cultivating within the palace. They were not affected by what had happened outside. Unfortunately, Jian Wushuang, Underworld God, and Emperor God Tianling were no longer able to re-enter the palace. The Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling were fine with that, having already reached their objective of reaching Great Emperor levels, but Jian Wushuang. "It's a shame, give me more time and I could have finished the second scroll of the immortal celestial body." Jian Wushuang had some regrets, but he could do nothing about it. He had to protect the Heaven Repairing Palace. Although he had only been inside for half a month, his skills had already improved tremendously. For the immortal celestial Boda's second scroll, he was certain he could master it. It was simply a matter of time. Jian Wushuang and the others waited outside the palace. Another fortnight passed within the blink of an eye. The Emperor gods started to exit the palace. "I wonder how many managed to become great emperors out of the 9 of them." Jian Wushuang and the other experts waited in anticipation. At this juncture, every extra great emperor would influence the upcoming battle significantly. Soon, all 9 remaining experts walked out of the palace, and the palace returned to its dilapidated facade. Jian Wushuang watched the 9 people closely. After a moment he beamed. "Not bad," even Emperor Bai nodded. The other experts were surprised as well. They all knew that amongst the 9 people, 6 of them were at pinnacle Emperor God level. 3 of them were already at Great Emperor level. Chapter 21-29 5 Great Emperors. The Heaven Repairing Palace did wonders. The reason why the Sanctuary Palace had paid such a high price to activate it was to create as many great emperors as possible. They had estimated only 3 great emperors would emerge for if they were lucky. But now, 3 great emperors came out from the remaining 9 people. Adding Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling would make a total of 5. 12 seats, 5 great emperors. It was way beyond the Sanctuary Alliance's expectations. Amongst the 3 new great emperors was one Jian Wushuang recognized. It was Emperor God Lu Guang. The token for her to enter the palace had been given to her personally by Jian Wushuang. She indeed had not disappointed him, having ascended to great emperor levels herself. Another person who had fought for the seat, Emperor God Juxian, was not so lucky. Or perhaps it was due to his lack of ability. Even though he had managed to secure a seat with his soul attack secret skill 3 Divine Lights, he was not able to reach great emperor levels within the month. Jian Wushuang took a glance at him, and realized he had accepted that fact relatively calmly. Emperor God Juxian had no regrets, he had tried his best. This trip was not completely futile either. Chen Mingzi did not make it either? Jian Wushuang shook his head. In terms of ability, Chen Mingzi was right after Underworld God and Emperor God Tianling. It was a pity he could not ascend to great emperor levels. Luck is a pretty unpredictable thing after all. The activation of the palace has given us 5 more great emperors, and taken down 3 of Archilon palaces. This has been a great blessing to us. It's only a pity you came out earlier than expected. Emperor Bai looked at Jian Wushuang. The surrounding experts looked at Jian Wushuang, their gazes all conflicted. The experts from the Heaven Repairing Palace, like Emperor God Lu Guang, looked towards him with gratitude. They all knew Jian Wushuang should have had his abilities improve further in the palace, but had to leave early to resist the Archilon Palace experts. It was due to Jian Wushuang that the rest could cultivate for a full month. What's done is done. Jian Wushuang, follow me to Thunderbolt Island, Emperor Bai said. Jian Wushuang nodded. Both of them headed for Thunderbolt Island, while the other experts scattered. In Thunderbolt Island's Great Hall stood Emperor Bai, Jian Wushuang, and Ancestor Tianchen. Jian Wushuang, although you only trained for half a month, you must have gained a lot, right? Emperor Bai asked casually. Indeed, Jian Wushuang nodded. I have improved tremendously in terms of Tao understanding, and I managed to feel the rules of order. My only regret is not having complete mastering my secret skill. If not, I would have third-stage fighting powers by now. Of course, even without the palace I should be able to master it on my own. How long will that take? Emperor Bai asked. About a decade, Jian Wushuang replied. He had mastered half of the immortal celestial Buddha's second scroll. 10 years should be enough. A decade? How about 3 years? Can you do it within 3? Emperor Bai asked. 3 years. Jian Wushuang frowned and thought for a while. Normally 3 years would be impossible, but if I had sufficient resources and treasures to supplement me, it may be possible. But may I ask Emperor Bai why 3 years? Jian Wushuang had questions. The battle between the eternal chaotic world and Three Emperors' world had not begun yet. What was the rush? Unless, Jian Wushuang looked towards Emperor Bai. Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin had suspicious smiles on their faces. Ancestor Tianqin said, Sword Emperor, you should know how prepared we are now. Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance have all made their preparations, and with the 5 extra great emperors we have now, we could fight the enemy straight on to the death if we wanted to. But not them. Jian Wushuang understood. So, both of you want to make the first move? He asked. Indeed, Emperor Bai smiled. Since the eternal chaotic world is ready, there's no need to drag this out. We should strike while the enemy is unprepared. We can no longer be on the passive side. From the Dark Millstone, to what happened at the Special Tribes Alliance, to the Heaven Repairing Palace attack. We have been reacting to their attacks this entire time, but not once were we on the offensive. Even counting the last time you and 3 other experts snuck into Three Emperors' world to destroy the Supreme Emperor Stone, that too was reactionary. But now it is time for us to make the first move. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang nodded. May I know, Emperor Bai, Ancestor Tianqin, about your plans? He asked. He knew if they were to tell him this, they would have drawn out a plan by now. We have one plan and it's quite simple. I'll be the same as the last time, send a small team of experts to infiltrate and damage the Three Emperors' world, Emperor Bai said. What? There again? Jian Wushuang's face changed. The Three Emperors' world was the enemy's base. To send a small team to infiltrate that place would be immensely dangerous. Chapter 2134 Stalling. The last time Jian Wushuang had infiltrated the Three Emperors' world with a small team was because they had to. The Dark Millstone was operating and they had to stop it. It was out of necessity. But this time, although it would be a surprise attack, there was still a high level of risk involved. Relax, even though the risks are high, we have a more comprehensive plan in our hands, Emperor Bai smiled. Jian Wushuang started listening attentively. Jian Wushuang, the Three Emperors' world is different now. They used to have enormous formations to protect themselves, and they had spies monitoring our every move within the Sanctuary Alliance. That was why the enemy knew what you all were doing the previous time. But now, with the Supreme Emperor Stone destroyed, the Three Emperors' world no longer has large protective formations to protect themselves. The spies have all been taken off too. You will be able to infiltrate without a trace, Emperor Bai said. Jian Wushuang squinted and asked, even though that may be true, the Three Emperors' world on its own is still very strong. If we want to hurt them badly, we need more great emperors, and that will be impossible to hide. That is correct, that is why we need you to hide, Emperor Bai smiled. Me? Jian Wushuang flinched before coming to his senses. You want me to disguise myself, and let the great emperors hide within my chaos divine weapon? The last time the 4 experts had managed infiltrated into the Three Emperors' world's core, the imperial city Jian Wushuang was only at the early stage chaotic realm, with the other great emperors hiding within his blood mountain sword. Again the same move? Jian Wushuang, your chaos divine weapon is an outstanding weapon in terms of power and aura concealment abilities. Even I could not tell it was a suppressing type treasure. If our experts were to hide within it, the other experts would not be able to tell. You can still infiltrate the Three Emperors' world's lair, the imperial city, easily. Find the best chance and strike. Kill those experts in the shortest time possible. Not just the great emperors but the emperor gods, sir gods, kill as many as you can. I have discussed it with Tianqin. If you pick a good time, our team will take down hundreds of almighties within the shortest time, and maybe take down some great emperors if we are lucky. Emperor Bai said solemnly. Jian Wushuang's eyes were gleaming, trying to process everything. After a while he nodded. Indeed, the imperial city is the Three Emperors' world's largest congregation of experts, with plenty of almighties. If I can find a good opportunity, I can make a dent in their forces. But after I'm done, they will naturally send their reinforcements in the shortest time possible. They'll be in danger by then. Don't rush, Emperor Bai waved his hand. That was just step 1. Now for step 2, that's the most important one. The second step? Jian Wushuang's gaze shifted. A token prepared for you, Emperor Bai handed it Jian Wushuang. This token was gold from top to bottom, and had an ancient aura to it. Most importantly, it had a boundless space-time power which even Jian Wushuang could not see through. Emperor Bai, this is... Jian Wushuang looked at the golden token curiosity. This is a void token discovered by our experts in an ancient battlefield a long time ago. From the creation of the Sanctuary Alliance till now, we have only found one, Emperor Bai said. Only one. Jian Wushuang flinched. One could only imagine the rarity of this treasure. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. He was familiar with time-space tunnel tokens. They had them at the eternal chaotic world. But those tokens had restrictions. They could only work within the same holy kingdom. If the other party was in another kingdom, the token would not work. Those tokens were also constricted by space and time. If a certain space-time were to be locked up, the token would not work. But the token Emperor Bai was holding, it ignored space-time locks and distance. No matter how far you were, the token would work. No wonder the Sanctuary Alliance could only find one. Jian Wushuang was certain that the token must have been a rare treasure even in the ancient era. Jian Wushuang, before your team makes their move, I will gather all the experts from both the Sanctuary Alliance and the Special Tribes Alliance. Once the 3 Emperors' World reinforcements start to come for you, use the token. We'll all rush through. Emperor Bai said solemnly. Jian Wushuang was taken aback by this plan, but understood completely. Send a small team of experts to forestall the Imperial City and deal as much damage as possible, then use the Void token to bring in the rest of the forces to fight the enemy reinforcements. You intend to wipe them out in one shot? Jian Wushuang asked. Correct, or at least we must damage them severely. We cannot go soft on our sworn enemy, we will make our move once we get the opportunity, Emperor Bai said coldly. Chapter 2131 The Second Scroll, complete. The original plan between Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin had only one step, which was for Jian Wushuang to infiltrate into the Imperial City, use the Void token, and allow all the experts from the eternal chaotic world to come in and destroy the city. But after some thought, Emperor Bai felt wiping out only the experts within the city was not enough. After all, most high-level experts would not stay in the city. From there, step 2 was formed. I have discussed this plan several times with Tianqin. It should be possible, and if we want to make our move we should do it while the 3 Emperors' world is not completely prepared. If you need a decade to master the secret skill and reach 3rd stage, I'm afraid they will have been well prepared by then. So, 3 years at most. Emperor Bai looked towards Jian Wushuang. You must complete it within 3 years. If you need resources, just say. The Sanctuary Alliance has spent 6/10 of our resources opening the heaven-repairing palace, but the remaining resources are still plentiful. Understood, rest assured I will master it within 3 years, Jian Wushuang replied. Jian Wushuang was confident. 3 years may not have been a long period of time, but with enough resources, cultivating the immortal celestial Bodhi's second scroll would not be difficult. Even if he did not make it in time, he could still head for 3 Emperors' world without 3rd stage Great Emperor fighting power. Good, Emperor Bai nodded. Regarding the list of experts that will follow you, Tianqin and I have decided on that already. Take a look. Emperor Bai passed the list to Jian Wushuang. He took a look at it. There were 6 more great emperors on it besides him. Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, and Emperor God Tianling from the Sanctuary Alliance, King Qin Xing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yun from the Special Tribes Alliance. 6 great emperors, 3 from each alliance. In terms of ability, Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Qin Xing and Black Dragon Emperor were 2nd stage great emperors. Emperor God Tianling and Lei Yuan were pinnacle 1st stage great emperors. Add Jian Wushuang himself and the team became extremely formidable. What do you think? Emperor Bai asked. It'll do, Jian Wushuang nodded, but I want to add another person. Oh. Emperor Bai looked over, surprised. I have a sword servant by the name of Jian Yi. He is from the ancient era, his powers fully restored, with pinnacle 2nd stage fighting powers, Jian Wushuang said. Pinnacle 2nd stage? Emperor Bai and Ancestor Tianqin's eyes gleamed. The current eternal chaotic world only had 2 people with that level of fighting power. Emperor Bai and Jian Wushuang himself. They had never heard of a 3rd person. Sure, bring him along. Just remember the list of people, no need to mention it for now. 3 years from you before you take off, find them one by one, and don't tell them of your purpose just in case, Emperor Bai said. Understood. Jian Wushuang soon left. Soon after Jian Wushuang returned to the Green Fire world, Ancestor Tianqin sent people to deliver the resources Jian Wushuang needed. Jian Wushuang himself began to shut himself out. In a secret room, Jian Wushuang sat in the middle of a pool. The water in the pool was emerald in color with its own fragrance. The water was Eternal Chaotic World's rare emerald heart water, each drop containing pure and billowing divine power. A drop of this was rare in the world, but over here there was a whole pool of it. Besides that, there were other treasures. Jian Wushuang absorbed the pure power frenzily to cultivate the second scroll. The faster he absorbed, the higher the price. Every day Jian Wushuang cultivated, he used an astronomical figure of resources, enough to dumbfound an almighty. But in those circumstances, the Sanctuary Alliance did not hold back. No matter the price, as long as Jian Wushuang could cultivate in time, it would be worth it. Time passed, 3 years soon flew by. Specifically, it was only 2 years and 9 months. Within the secret room, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, and along with it a golden light emerged. A black, jade-like complexion covered his body. Immortal Celestial Bodhi's second scroll, complete at last. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists, visibly excited. Instantly he could feel his divine body changing. The Immortal Celestial Body itself was an extremely powerful skill, with the divine body going through the most change upon completion of the second scroll. Without doubt, the strength of his divine body had risen to a whole new level, his self-defense mechanism now stronger. With such a strong divine body, along with the perfect chaotic holy body he had obtained through inverse cultivation 7th step, even if he faced a pinnacle 3rd stage expert, he would have no fear. He would not be able to kill Jian Wushuang. Once he truly reached 3rd stage, he would be truly invincible. By then, even a 4th stage great emperor could not stop him, and the highest one could go was the 4th stage. Besides his divine body, his divine power had increased significantly as well. This power, slightly stronger than what I expected, Jian Wushuang smiled. He could feel this billowing power. This power was way beyond what a normal great emperor could possess. Based on fundamental power itself, Jian Wushuang had already surpassed great emperors. This was inverse cultivation's advantage. It was not subject to the constrictions the land had placed. Even Demon King Chen Ye's fundamental powers could only hit pinnacle great emperor levels. It was only because of the secret skills he had learnt, along with rules of order, that he reached 3rd stage. Jian Wushuang could not have beaten him previously in terms of power. But now, even without rules of order based on inverse cultivation's advantage alone, along with the immortal celestial body, he was on par with Demon King Chenyu or perhaps even stronger. Chapter 2132 Setting O. Now this is true 3rd stage fighting power, Jian Wushuang smiled. Although he could go head-on against Demon King Chenyu back at the Heaven Repairing Palace without fear of suppression thanks to his impressive survival abilities, in terms of true power, Jian Wushuang was still slightly lagging behind. Now, Jian Wushuang was almost stronger than Demon King Chenyu, and did not lose out at all when it came to secret skills. Jian Wushuang was confident he could take Demon King Chenyu head-on once again, and perhaps even suppress him if he played the right cards. This fighting power was of a true 3rd stage great emperor. If I could make some further improvements to reach the 3rd stage or get the hang of some rules of order, my fighting powers would increase. Jian Wushuang shook his head and laughed. The time I've taken cultivating has simply been too short, I could not ask for more. With the immemorial celestial Bodhi's second scroll successfully cultivated, Jian Wushuang was ready to take off. This time he took Jianyi. Thunderbolt Island, within the Great Hall, Emperor Bai sat at the top, while Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, King Qin Shing, Black Dragon Emperor, and Lei Yuan stood at the center. These 6 emperors rushed over upon Emperor Bai's transmission. Shio. A figure appeared within the hall, it was Jian Wushuang. Sword Emperor. Ancient Emperor. Abysmal Saint Master, King Qin Shing and the others all called out. Jian Wushuang nodded and looked towards Emperor Bai. When he refined the immemorial celestial Bodhi's second scroll, he made sure Emperor Bai knew, who then summoned the experts. Everyone, I have gathered you all here for a special assignment. I require your collected strength, are you all willing to join me? Emperor Bai asked the 6. Abysmal Saint Master and others looked at each other and all nodded. Seeing this, Emperor Bai continued. The task is extraordinary, so Jian Wushuang will lead it personally. Throughout the mission you must follow his orders, is that understood? The six were taken aback but had no objections as it was Jian Wushuang leading them. Needless to say, the three experts from the special tribes followed their leader, Jian Wushuang. The three Sanctuary Alliance members had no objections either, even Emperor God Tianling. Because, regardless of strength or status, no one could beat Jian Wushuang, so of course he should lead them. Seeing the expressions of the six emperors, Jian Wushuang smiled, then solemnly said, "For special reasons I cannot tell you the specific task content for the time being. There is another thing. They'll need to put the six of you in an uncomfortable position. You all may be slightly aggrieved by it." Aggrieved? The six emperors were all surprised, but all were fine except the abysmal Saint Master. He had already guessed what Jian Wushuang had wanted to do because Jian Wushuang had said the same thing to him before entering the imperial city back at the Three Emperors' world. Sure enough, Jian Wushuang spoke. "The divine weapon I hold is a suppressive treasure. I will need to suppress all six of you within this divine weapon to facilitate movement. Are you all willing?" The expressions of all six people changed, except the abysmal Saint Master. After all, being suppressed meant handing their lives over to another person. "I'm okay with that." Abysmal Saint Master was the first that spoke. He had stayed in Jian Wushuang's divine weapon for years previously at the Three Emperors' world. With that experience he had no fear. King Qin Shing came from the ancient God clan and had pledged allegiance to Jian Wushuang. Naturally he did not hesitate too much and directly agreed. "Haha, it's only for a short period of time, it means nothing. Whatever the ancient emperor commands I will never refuse." The Black Dragon Emperor smiled. Jian Wushuang had saved her life and clan in the past. She had already developed feelings for Jian Wushuang long before the request. She would never reject Jian Wushuang's request to stay within the divine weapon. Three of the six had agreed. Underworld God and Lei Yuan hesitated for a while but eventually agreed. One person was left, and it was Emperor God Tianling. "Emperor God Tianling, no, Great Emperor Tianling." Emperor Bei's voice resonated. "I know what your concerns are. Rest assured, Jian Wushuang will not take his personal revenge against you. Abysmal Saint Master was in the same situation as you previously." Emperor God Tianling flinched and took a glance at Abysmal Saint Master. Eventually he agreed. Like that, all six great emperors agreed. "Since you all have agreed, please do not resist." Jian Wushuang smiled as his blood mountain sword turned into a huge mountain and suppressed the six great emperors. If it had been under other circumstances, it would not have been easy. These six great emperors. It was much easier to do it when they did not resist. Soon all six of them were suppressed within Jian Wushuang's Blood Mountain Sword. For Jian Yi, he was long within the Blood Mountain Sword. "Jian Wushuang, take care and do not be reckless. This is a life and death situation for the eternal chaotic world," Emperor Bai instructed. "Understood." Jian Wushuang nodded and made his way. Within the boundless dark void, the dark millstone the size of a few kingdoms floated there quietly. It had long stopped moving. Within the dark millstone lie the Three Emperors' world. Jian Wushuang had arrived at the edge of the dark millstone. Before arriving at the dark millstone, Jian Wushuang could not help but sigh. The Supreme Emperor Stone had not been destroyed the previous time I was here. There was such a huge formation then. The Sanctuary Alliance took great measures to send my team of 4 in the Three Emperors' world. But now, the temporary seals around the dark millstone do not stop me from entering without a trace. They encountered several seals along the way, but Jian Wushuang had managed to make his way around it. Soon he was within Three Emperors' world territory. Chapter 2133 Revisiting Three Emperors' world. At the edge of the Three Emperors' world, Jian Wushuang's figure appeared above the boundless void. As he appeared, his appearance and the aura on him began to change. Within a moment of time, he turned into a cold young man with a sword on his back. His aggressive aura was too strong to not notice. It was as if he would strike anyone down the moment he was not pleased. His aura was at a regular Emperor God's level, meaning to say a middle-stage chaotic realm expert. There were many similar experts in the Three Emperors' world. "Let's go." Jian Wushuang went straight for the Three Emperors' world's core, the Imperial City. With his previous experience he was able to navigate the way there easily. After some time, Jian Wushuang arrived at the void near the Imperial City. Jian Wushuang stood in the void and looked over the huge city. The last time Jian Wushuang had been there, the Supreme Emperor Stone had already been destroyed, leading to the collapse of the Imperial City's formation. But it seemed that the formation had been reactivated. "Looks like the Three Emperors' world has found another power source," Jian Wushuang mumbled but was not surprised. A formation only the size of a city did not require too much power. It was not hard for the three emperors' world to reactivate it. But the dark millstone outside was too gigantic. With the Supreme Emperor Stone destroyed, they could not find an alternative power source, which kept it from reactivating. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and headed towards the Imperial City gates. The gate was heavily guarded as usual. During his way in, Jian Wushuang felt a concealed aura. The aura could not have been sensed by normal experts, but Jian Wushuang could feel it clearly. It was a great emperor. A great emperor seeing to the guarding of a city gate personally? Jian Wushuang smiled. Obviously, after the previous incident, the three emperors' world had increased their level of vigilance. Jian Wushuang was immediately stopped at the gate, and a silver-haired elder appeared in front of him. "Do you intend to enter the Imperial City?" he asked Jian Wushuang. "Indeed," Jian Wushuang nodded. "May I get your name as well as which family or domain you come from?" the silver-haired elder asked. Jian Wushuang frowned and said, "My name is Duan Lingfeng. I have no family and I've always acted alone. I'm from the Dragon Heart God Mansion." The Dragon Heart God Mansion was one of 48 God Mansions the three emperors' world controlled. Jian Wushuang himself had never traveled to that place. "Duan Lingfeng? Dragon Heart God Mansion?" The silver-haired elder nodded. "Please give me a moment to confirm this." "Confirm?" Jian Wushuang felt something was amiss. Unexpectedly, the silver-haired elder raised his head and said, "Sir, I have just talked to the ruler of the Dragon Heart God Mansion owner. He has not heard of a middle-stage chaotic realm expert by the name of Duan Lingfeng." "What nonsense is this? The three emperors' world is so large with countless experts. I myself rarely show my face outside. Of course I would be unrecognized by others. You mean I cannot enter the Imperial City because of this?" Jian Wushuang was angered. "My apologies, but the Sanctuary Alliance has already given their orders. Any lone experts that we are unable to properly identify are all barred from entering the Imperial City. You'll need an expert from the high ranks of the Sanctuary Alliance to give you the green light," the silver-haired elder said. "Such a hassle, might as well not enter." Jian Wushuang snorted and turned away. The silver-haired elder watched Jian Wushuang leave emotionlessly. "Duan Lingfeng? A middle-stage chaotic realm expert, unrecognized by anyone. What a freak. Under these circumstances, it's best we don't allow these kinds of people into the Imperial City," the silver-haired elder mumbled to himself. In a void not far from the Imperial City, Jian Wushuang stopped. His expression was visibly sour. "How could I be rejected at the gates?" Jian Wushuang mumbled. "It's normal. You entered the Imperial City using the same method as previously, causing them their Supreme Emperor Stone. With that heavy lesson, it's normal for them to take precautions," the suppressed Abysmal Saint Master said from within the Blood Mountain sword. "Our plan was to infiltrate and attack the three emperors' world's lair from within. If we can't even get through their gates, how will we succeed?" Underworld God said. Jian Wushuang had explained the mission to the great emperors on the way. "It is a bit troublesome, but there is a way," Jian Wushuang said solemnly. "They simply bar unknown experts from entering. If that's the case, I'll create an identity or simply disguise myself as a three emperors world expert." "Disguise? How would you disguise yourself?" Abysmal Saint Master asked. "No rush, let's find the three emperors world's intelligence unit first." Without further explanation he went on his way. The three emperors world had 12 states, 84 god mansions and countless domains. Within such a large domain, the influence spheres were similarly complicated, and naturally there would be organizations that sold intelligence. Jian Wushuang soon found a relatively powerful intelligence unit. "I need intelligence regarding some chaotic realm experts, those that have disappeared or fallen, the more ancient the better," Jian Wushuang instructed. "Please wait." The personnel immediately started organizing their information. Within the Blood Mountain sword, the 7 great emperors, Jian Yi included, looked at each other. They understood what Jian Wushuang was trying to do. He was about to disguise himself as a three emperors world expert that had vanished for years. Those kinds of experts hid well, to the extent that no one knew if they were still around. It was normal for those kinds of experts to appear once in a while. Within moments, the personnel from the intelligence unit handed Jian Wushuang a detailed list of the chaotic realm experts. Jian Wushuang began analyzing the list. There were 10 people on the list, all of whom had vanished. The youngest missing case was 160,000 years ago, whereas the oldest missing case had happened 8 million years ago. It was almost certain that he had fallen. Chapter 2134 Old Monster Hong Qin, These People. Jian Wushuang took a close look at every expert's details on the list, but finally his eyes fixated on one person. This person was named Hong Qin, also known as Old Monster Hong Qin, Old Demon Hong Qin, and he had vanished over 1,000,000 years ago without a trace. The information indicated that due to Old Monster Hong Qin's inward nature, he had made no friends. He was quite the willful devil as well. It was because of that he found himself chased down by a family he had offended 1,000,000 years ago but escaped from, badly hurt. He was not heard of since. This Old Monster Hong Qin has disappeared for over 1,000,000 years. He has most likely fallen. Maybe he's still alive, but still too afraid to show his face against so many enemies he had made. No matter, his identity will be useful to me, Jian Wushuang smiled. He chose Old Monster Hong Qin out of 10 vanished experts for 2 reasons. He had no friends, making him unrecognizable, and his willful personality would make things easier for Jian Wushuang. Him it is. With that settled, Jian Wushuang's appearance started to change. Once a cold youngster with a sword on his back, Jian Wushuang had now changed to a red-robed, red-haired fierce elder. It was based off what the information had suggested regarding Old Monster Hong Qin's appearance. With abilities at such a high level, it was too easy for Jian Wushuang to transform. Not only his appearance, but even Jian Wushuang's aura transformed into an evil, eerie one. The impression he gave others was undoubted of a devil. With how I look right now, if I call myself Old Monster Hong Qin, unless someone is extremely close with him, no one will doubt my disguise. Furthermore, this Old Monster Hong Qin had no friends. Who could identify me? Of course, I still need to make some preparations before I enter the Imperial City. Jian Wushuang snorted and made his way towards the Imperial City. Several days later, in a normal domain within the Three Emperors world, a remote mountain range could be spotted within a dense, eerie forest. Shio, 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 shio. 4 figures appeared in the void above the mountain range simultaneously. This is it, guys. A purple-robed woman looked downwards at the mountain range. Ling Shi, you're sure a mountain dwelling lies within this range? A sturdy man asked while frowning. I'm sure, the purple-robed woman replied. The mountain dwelling was discovered by accident 3 days ago. I did not notice it at first, but at that moment a boundless aura came from within the dwelling. The aura must have come from a treasure, which led me to the dwelling. I wanted to search for it on my own, but I was stopped by a battle puppet. That puppet was strong, even though his methods were ordinary. I don't know what he did, but his strength and speed were at early-stage chaotic realm levels. I was not his opponent, that's why I found you all. A treasure's aura with a strong puppet to guard it. Undoubtedly, the mountain dwelling had something. Let's approach it quietly. Ling Shi, you lead the way. The 4 went on their way. Soon they had entered the mountain dwelling and found the puppet which the purple-robed woman had mentioned. The 4 of them had already reached pinnacle chaotic real god. Collaborating and using all their might, they finally surpassed the puppet and continued making their way towards the mountain dwelling. They did not know that a red-robed, red-haired elder was waiting for them. They have arrived. Jian Wushuang smiled and continued pretending to be in meditation. Before long, the 4 real gods reached the deepest part of the mountain dwelling. When they reached, they did not find any treasure. Instead, they found the red-haired elder. Before they could react, the red-haired elder opened his eyes. A terrifying aura was instantly let out from within the mountain dwelling. The gall of you all to barge into my place of seclusion. The red-haired elder made his move. Crap. Make a run for it. The 4 real gods were flustered. It was then that they realized the mountain dwelling was no expert's remnant, but a chaotic realm expert's place of meditation and seclusion. They had offended the other party and now he wanted them all dead. Honk, honk, honk. The red-haired elder made several moves and instantly killed 3 people. Only the purple-robed woman managed to escape. Of course, Jian Wushuang had intentionally let her go. After the purple-robed female had left, the word spread as expected. Old Monster Hong Qin, a name last heard 1,000,000 years ago, had reappeared. This was what Jian Wushuang had wanted. He had intentionally lured the 4 people in and let the woman escape, all for Old Monster Hong Qin's name to be mentioned all over Three Emperors world once again. But this was not enough. Soon after Old Monster Hong Qin's name started going around, Jian Wushuang arrived at a huge family. This family was the famous Dan clan within the Three Emperors world. The Dan clan had many experts, with reported 7 chaotic realm experts and 1 middle-stage chaotic realm elder. This Dan clan had also chased down Old Monster Hong Qin over 1,000,000 years ago, forcing him into seclusion. Looking at the huge family, Jian Wushuang laughed. A loud roar resonated through the heavens. You Dan rats, you chased me down 1,000,000 years ago, forcing me out. Today I have come for my revenge. Everyone in Dan clan die. Chapter 2135 Shocking the Three Emperors World Dan clan was exterminated. Even though the Chaotic Realm experts had managed to rush back from the Imperial City in time, it did not change the fact that they were exterminated. Over 90% of the experts from the Dan clan were killed. Only the lucky few escaped. The Dan clan disappeared within moments. The one who had caused this was the old monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared over 1,000,000 years ago. This news spread like wildfire across the entire Three Emperors world. Many of the experts and clans were surprised and were all commenting on the incident. Old Master Hong Chen is alive after all these years? Not only is he alive, he has become even stronger? He must have encountered great opportunities during the time he was gone and become a top-tier middle-stage chaotic realm. This old monster is still so fierce and heartless. The first thing he does when he comes to light is to exterminate a clan. He is not even affected after killing so many cultivators. He is called Old Monster Hong Chen for a reason. He was never a kind man. Back then, it was the Dan clan that caused him to almost die. Now that he has finally recovered some power, what is stopping him from taking revenge? Many of the experts in the Three Emperors world were talking about this incident. No one doubted his true identity, no matter what their opinions on the matter were. There was nothing to be suspicious of. Everyone believed that the one who had exterminated the Dan clan was Old Monster Hong Chen, who had disappeared 1,000,000 years ago. However, within a city somewhere in the Three Emperors world, an elderly man in red clothes was in disbelief when he got news of this. Oh, who is impersonating me? This elderly man in red clothes was the real Old Monster Hong Chen. He had been hiding his true identity all this time as he was afraid of the Dan clan. Now, Dan clan had been exterminated. Most importantly, he was the one who had exterminated it? He was still an early-stage chaotic realm expert. How could he exterminate the Dan clan alone? Without a doubt, there was someone using his identity. Why did he impersonate me? What is his goal? Old Monster Hong Chen muttered to himself. He then shook his head and continued, "It does not matter. He helped me exterminate Dan clan and avenged me. I shall let him use my name to do whatever he wants." Old Monster Hong Chen did not plan on exposing Jianghu. Even though the Dan clan had been exterminated, he would never use the identity of Old Monster Hong Chen ever again. Old Monster Hong Chen's name had become well known in the Three Emperors world after the Dan clan was exterminated. Jianghu had achieved his goal. Now I can enter the Imperial City confidently. Jianghu smiled as he headed toward the entrance of Imperial City. At the gate of Imperial City, it was guarded tightly. The elder in gray clothes who had stopped Jianghu from entering was still standing there. An extremely evil and gloomy aura could be felt from the space far away. This aura was flamboyant. Even though the person was still far away, the elderly man in gray clothes noticed it. What an evil aura. Who is that? The elderly man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows. Soon, the owner of the aura appeared at the entrance and revealed his face. It was an elderly man with red hair and clothes. It has been so long since I was last here. The Imperial City feels different. Jianghu muttered to himself casually. May I know who you are? The elderly man in gray clothes asked Jianghu. I am Ancestor Hong Chen. Jianghu replied. Ancestor Hong Chen? The elderly man in gray clothes turned pale. The actions of this devil were widespread across the Three Emperors world. According to some, this devilish man had been meditating in a secluded cave until some real gods chanced upon his cave and woke him up. He had then immediately exterminated the Dan clan, which caused quite a commotion. Now he was here at the Imperial Palace. Oh, so why are you here at the Imperial Palace? The elder man in gray clothes asked. I have reached the peak of middle-stage chaotic realm. I am very close to peak chaotic realm. Why do you think I am here? Jianghu smirked. You are here to use the resources within the Imperial Palace to break through to peak chaotic realm. The elder man in gray clothes understood his intentions and was not suspicious at all. Hey old fool, are you going to let me through? Jianghu said impatiently. The elder man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows. Even though Old Monster Hong Chen was infamously known to be Adavil, he still had the right to enter the Imperial Palace as long as he was an almighty. You can enter. I have to remind you to control your temper and not break any rules inside the palace. Even though you can exterminate the Dan clan alone, there are still many experts within the palace who can kill you easily. The elder man in gray clothes said. I do not need someone like you to remind me of these things. Scram and stop blocking my way, Jianghu roared as he headed into the palace. The elder man in gray clothes knitted his eyebrows lightly but did not stop him. It took some effort, but I finally made it in. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked around within the imperial palace. Since he had made it into the imperial palace, what followed would be much more simple. This is Emperor's Summit? The protecting formation is gone? Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up when he saw the magnificent summit in the distance. The imperial cabinet was located at the top of that summit. He remembered he had only managed to successfully enter the Emperor's Summit after winning the qualification battle. Now the Emperor's Summit was completely open to the public. Beside the Emperor's Summit, there were 3 large statues which stood tall and proud. There had originally been a golden vortex in the middle of the 3 statues. Now that the Supreme Emperor Stone was destroyed, the vortex had disappeared too. Many people were meditating in front of the 3 statues. Within a bar inside the imperial palace, Jian Wushuang sat there drinking wine. He was also listening in to the people around talking about the changes to the imperial palace. According to what the waiter was saying, the changes to Imperial City had happened about 10 years ago. Someone had ventured into the Emperor's Summit and destroyed the sacred stone, Supreme Emperor Stone. The people in the 3 Emperors world called the man who had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone the Devil. Chapter 2136 Baited Devil? Jian Wushuang touched his nose as he looked at the people talking weirdly. He knew that he was Devil the experts from the 3 Emperors world were talking about. Ever since he had destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone, the security within the imperial palace had been much tighter and the rules much more stringent. Furthermore, there were more experts on standby within the imperial palace to prepare for the upcoming battle. This meant that there would be far more experts within the palace compared to before. If there are more experts in the palace, this means that we can kill more when we ambush them. The 3 Emperors world will face a greater loss, Jian Wushuang thought coldly. Everyone get ready. We are about to execute our plan. Jian Wushuang messaged the other 7 great emperors. Finally? Haha, I can't wait anymore. The 7 great emperors inside the Blood Mountain Sword were all excited. They had anticipated this since they knew what the mission was about. Now, they were finally going to start the mission for real. Throughout the journey, Jian Wushuang had also communicated with Emperor Bai and asked him about his preparations. Ever since the Supreme Emperor Stone had been destroyed and the formation surrounding the Dark Millstone had collapsed, the spacetime was no longer restricted and Jian Wushuang could transmit messages with the outside world easily. After receiving Jian Wushuang's message, Emperor Bai gathered the experts from Sanctuary Alliance and Special Tribes Alliance. Everything was prepared quickly and everyone was ready to go. After taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang moved. He flew towards the 3 statues. Since they were going to ambush, they should ambush a place where there would be a large number of people. At the foot of the 3 Emperors world, that was where the highest number of experts gathered. Thousands of experts in the realm of Chaotic Realm who were sat in front of the statues were meditating. They were densely packed in that small space. Sword Emperor, even though there are many almighties here, there are no great emperors. It would be better if we attracted a few great emperors here. Abysmal Saint Master said. Yes, I understand. Jian Wushuang nodded his head while he looked at the imperial cabinet. There were 3 great emperors around the golden vortex guarding the Supreme Emperor Stone when it was still here. After the stone was destroyed, there was no need for a great emperor to be on guard anymore. Hence, most of the great emperors within the 3 Emperors world stay within the Emperor Cabinet. It would not be a wise choice if they decided to ambush the Emperor Cabinet directly, as there were many great emperors residing within it. The best way was to attract the attention of a few great emperors and fight them beside the 3 large statues. Just then, 2 figures were flying towards the space Jian Wushuang was in. One was a handsome prince, the other was a teenage girl in green clothes. Coincidentally, Jian Wushuang had met them before. Ling Tianhao. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. Ling Tianhao and him had had a grudge when had first come to the imperial palace. Back then, Jian Wushuang had masked his identity by pretending to be a rude, overpowering man-show. Now he was here for the second time. They met again. What a coincidence. Jian Wushuang laughed. He thought for a moment. I have an idea. Jian Wushuang fixed his gaze on Ling Tianhao as he flew towards him. Ling Tianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes planned to meditate in front of the 3 statues. A figure which radiated gloom and death appeared in front of them. What a powerful aura. Ling Tianhao was shocked. The person radiating this aura is at least a person in middle stage chaotic realm. The teenage girl in green clothes panicked. The 2 people quickly calmed down and greeted the man humbly. Is there a problem, sir? Humph. Are you Ling Tianhao? Jian Wushuang asked coldly. Yes, I am. Ling Tianhao replied, curious as to why the unknown man had asked him this. If that is the case, die. Your family and the Dan family tried to kill me. This is revenge. Jian Wushuang attacked. Oh no. Ling Tianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes were caught by surprise. The experts meditating in front of the statues were alarmed as they looked over in surprise. They were surprised by his courage, not his power. He had dared to attack within the imperial palace right in front of the 3 statues. He was neglecting the imperial cabinet and the rules within the palace. The moment Jian Wushuang attacked, boom, 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 boom. Many powerful auras erupted as 6 figures appeared. They were the 6 deacons in the middle stage chaotic realm. Stop. You have courage, attacking so flagrantly within the imperial palace. You better stop or you will die. Roars of anger were heard. Hearing these roars, Jian Wushuang bellowed with laughter. Ha! The few of you can't stop me, Ancestor Hong Chen. Jian Wushuang's blood-red hand grew in size as a terrifying aura radiated in all directions. The hand managed to force the 6 deacons back. His aura was overbearing. Many people in the crowd were stunned. It's him, Ancestor Hong Chen? The man who single-handedly exterminated the Dan clan is here at the Imperial Palace? No wonder he dared to attack others within the Imperial Palace. He is notorious for his lawlessness. Many of the experts exclaimed. Haha. Jian Wushuang continued to chase after Ling Tianhao ferociously. Oh no. The 6 deacons turned pale. They were responsible for maintaining order around the 3 statues. If Ancestor Hong Chen killed Ling Tianhao, they would be severely punished. Right then. Humph. A majestic grunt was heard. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was elated. They took the bait. Chapter 2137 Judgment. You have courage to attack in the middle of the Imperial Palace. A deep voice reverberated through the entire space and an overbearing aura was felt. The crowd fell quiet. A red-haired elder who had his hands behind his back appeared in the space above the statues. The aura came from him. Everyone around looked at this elder man with red hair. It is a titan. A titan in the realm of peak chaotic realm appeared. I recognize this man. He is Lord Feng Wu. Many cultivators look at him in respect and adoration. Titans in the peak chaotic realm were the equivalent to the great emperor realm in the eternal chaotic world. It was rare to see them in 3 emperors world and every single one of them was well respected by everyone. This red-haired elder Feng Wu was one of them. Lord. Lord. The 6 deacons greeted the elder man. One of them stepped out and said, Lord, the 6 of us are in charge of maintaining peace and order here in front of the 3 statues. When Ancestor Hong Chen tried to kill someone, we tried to stop him immediately but he overpowered us. If you had not appeared, he would have killed the man successfully. Oh. Feng Wu knitted his eyebrows. Lord Feng Wu. I am from the Ling clan from the prefecture Tong. My family has no grudge with Ancestor Hong Chen. I also have never done anything to piss him off and have no idea why he attacked me today. I hope you, my lord, can help me. Nonsense. Once Ling Tianhao had finished speaking, Jian Wushuang roared, If I had no reason, why would I bully a youngster like him? Back then the Ling clan and the Dan clan allied with each other and almost killed me. Since I met a disciple from the Ling clan, of course I wanted to kill you to vent my anger. Humph. Feng Wu looked at Jian Wushuang coldly and said, Even if you had great resentment against the Lin clan, you should settle it outside the imperial palace. Since you are in the palace now, you need to obey the rules. Your name is Hong Chen, right? You attacked others and almost killed someone within the palace. You have infringed the rules set in place in the imperial palace and you shall be punished. I sentence you to 100,000 years within the emperor jail. Feng Wu said coldly as he declared Jian Wushuang's sentence. Everyone was shocked. The emperor jail was a place which all the high-profile prisoners were sent to. There were many ways inside to torture their victims. Even experts in the chaotic realm would turn pale once they heard of the emperor jail. Usually, a chaotic realm expert would start breaking down after 1,000 years. 100,000 years? Even an expert in the middle stage chaotic realm would not have been able to take it. No one dared to stand up for Jian Wushuang. They felt that Jian Wushuang should receive punishment when he broke the rules. Feng Wu was one of the few titans in the emperor cabinet. He had the right to sentence people to jail. They felt that Jian Wushuang should take the punishment willingly. In reality, going to the emperor jail for 100,000 years? Dream on. I like my unrestrained lifestyle and I don't care about the rules within the imperial palace. Since I am not welcomed here, I shall leave. Jian Wushuang laughed and turned around as though he was about to leave. How dare you? Feng Wu roared in anger. The imperial palace has its own rules. If you are obedient and enter the jail for 100,000 years, you can still be free. If you do not obey my orders, you shall die. I will die? What a joke. Jian Wushuang was not afraid as he tried to leave. Die. Feng Wu stopped wasting time with Jian Wushuang as killing intent surged. His aura erupted and covered everyone around. He moved. He was like an emperor as he attacked Jian Wushuang. He was very quick and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang almost instantaneously. Die. Feng Wu yelled as he chopped with his blood-red sword. Clouds of blood filled the entire space as the imperial palace turned red. A terrifying aura radiated outwards as the experts turned pale. This is the power of an expert in peak chaotic realm. Only those in the peak chaotic realm could be called titans. The difference in each stage within the chaotic realm is too large. Ancestor Hong Chen could have survived if he had listened to Lord Feng Wu and gone to the Emperor jail and stayed there for 100,000 years. Looks like he will die here today. Lord Feng Wu is attacking him personally. Ancestor Hong Chen is dead meat. Humph. He asked for it himself. Who can he blame? The experts around looked at him sympathetically. They all felt that Jian Wushuang was definitely dead. It was normal for them to think so. There was no doubt that a peak chaotic realm could kill a middle-stage chaotic realm easily, especially within the imperial palace. Even if Feng Wu could not kill him, there were other titans within the palace that could. The blood-red strike appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. It contained the power of spacetime and locked onto Jian Wushuang. He could not have escaped even if had wanted to. Jian Wushuang stood there and smiled playfully. He did not attempt to dodge, which made the rest think that he was either too shocked to move, or he knew he couldn't dodge it. In reality, he was not worried at all. Jian Wushuang saw the red-haired elder Feng Wu before. Back then, he had been one of the guardians of the Supreme Emperor Stone and they'd even fought. It was a pity Jian Wushuang had lost easily as there were 3 of them there. Feng Wu was at the power level of an ordinary stage 1 great emperor. Jian Wushuang was not worried about attacks coming from him. Eventually, the blood-red slash hit Jian Wushuang in the chest as it tried to slash him into half. In the end, clang. This sound made it seem like the slash had clashed onto an indestructible rock, not a human being. After the collision, only a spark was seen. Jian Wushuang was unharmed. Chapter 2138 No Choice Left. What? The confident red-haired elder Feng Wu was in shock. The experts around had their mouths open wide in disbelief. Feng Wu was a titan in the peak chaotic realm. His attack had collided with the target and yet he was unharmed? Even if the person had body armor, the force the slash contained would either get him severely wounded or cause the victim to fly back. However, Ancestor Hong Chen just stood there calmly, not moving. He was not affected by the attack from Feng Wu? You, Feng Wu looked at Jian Wushuang dumbfounded. What? Do you think this is amazing? Jian Wushuang smiled playfully. When Feng Wu saw that expression, a dawn of realization hit him. No, that's not right. Even another expert in peak chaotic realm would be forced back when hit by my attack. No one within the 3 Emperors world has this terrifying self-defense mechanism. I have only seen one person in my entire life reach that stage. Feng Wu widened his eyes as he stared at Jian Wushuang and roared, You are definitely not Ancestor Hong Chen and you are definitely not in middle stage chaotic realm. Ha! Jian Wushuang smiled sheepishly and revealed his true form. At that instant, an aura even more terrifying than Feng was erupted and swept out in all directions. This aura made every expert tremble to their core. At the same time, Jian Wushuang's appearance changed. It was originally a stubborn elder man in red clothes. Now he looked completely different. He looked younger, firmer and colder. Once the face had appeared, Feng Wu felt his head was about to explode. It is you. Of course it is you. Jian Wushuang. A loud howl reverberated in the sky. This terrible howl pierced through the air and shocked everyone. Not just Feng Wu who was dumbfounded, but Ling Qianhao who was standing not too far away was also shocked. A fear like never before manifested in his heart. Devil? It's the devil. The devil is back. Ling Qianhao screamed crazily. Devil? The surrounding experts were stunned, and then the uproar began. Only one person had been called the devil in all of 3 Emperors' world history. That person was the man that had stood up to 13 titans in the chaotic realm, destroyed the Supreme Emperor Stone, and left alive. In everyone's mind, this person was the strongest, most undefeatable and unkillable devil. And this devil was now here? Ah. Looks like my name is well known in the 3 Emperors' world. Jian Wushuang saw the facial expressions of the experts around and smiled. Feng Wu, who stood in front of Jian Wushuang, was fearful for his own life and retreated quickly. He wanted to escape as he knew for a fact that there was no way he could beat Jian Wushuang. It was a pity that Jian Wushuang had other plans for him. Don't be so anxious to leave. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly as he waved his hands. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 7 figures appeared in the space around Jian Wushuang. When the 7 figures appeared, 7 overbearing auras of peak chaotic realms swept out. Any one of these 7 auras made Feng Wu fear for his own life. Oh no! Feng Wu turned pale and ran without hesitation. The 7 experts who came out from the Blood Mountain Sword attacked. All 7 of these great emperors targeted Feng Wu. Most importantly, every single expert was much stronger than Feng Wu. Feng Wu stood no chance against the 7 men. Boom. After a loud bang, his corpse fell to the ground. There was a hole in his head and chest area. His life dissipated instantly without a trace. I thought that great emperors were very powerful and it would take a great amount of effort to kill one. Looks like it is easy to kill one if the person is powerful enough or many great emperors ally together. Jian Wushuang smiled as he looked at the crowd. Everyone, let us start the massacre. Once Jian Wushuang finished his sentence, the 7 great emperors moved. Boom. Overbearing aura mixed with a heavy killing intent erupted. The 7 great emperors split up and they attacked. There were a great number of experts around the 3 statues. Initially there were around 1,000 chaotic realm experts meditating there. Following the commotion, many experts were drawn over and there were over 1,500 experts now. They were simply in the early stage chaotic realm and the middle stage chaotic realm. No matter how many of them there was nothing they could do unless they formed up in a battle formation. Against the 7 great emperors they had no chance. No. Run. Escape. The devil brought some titans from the peak chaotic realm? Run. Miserable shouts and cries could be heard everywhere. The experts in the chaotic realm had no courage to try and withstand the attacks. They simply ran. However, their speeds were no match for great emperors such as the Abysmal Saint Master. The 7 great emperors slaughtered a great number of experts from the chaotic realm. Around the 3 statues was an area for meditation. Within seconds it had turned into Azura hell. In the middle of the battlefield, Jian Wushuang stood there calmly. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl in green clothes stood in front of him. These 2 stared at Jian Wushuang terrified. Devil? Ling Qianhao roared as fear rose from the bottom of his heart. Jian Wushuang looked at Ling Qianhao coldly as he slashed his sword. 2 sword lights shot out instantly. Ling Qianhao and the teenage girl were killed by the 2 sword lights. They could not even put up a fight. Do not blame me for being merciless. I have no choice. Jian Wushuang muttered. Chapter 2139 16 Great Emperors in the middle of the battlefield. Jian Wushuang stood coldly as he surveyed the battlefield. He was emotionless even when he saw Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi and the other great emperors kill a large number of experts from the 3 emperor world. Many of these people were innocent cultivators. They might not have even known of the existence of the eternal chaotic world. They were born in the 3 emperors world. They cultivated there to become stronger. However, the leaders of the 3 emperors world had already decided to declare war on the eternal chaotic world. Only one side would emerge victorious after the battle. If the 3 emperors world lost the war, they would be exterminated. That was the same case for the eternal chaotic world. If it lost, all life would be lost. Just like Jian Wushuang had said, he had no choice. He had to cause the greatest damage to the 3 emperor worlds lineup to achieve victory in the upcoming war. He had to find a way to do it unscrupulously. Even if it cost him everything he had. Not just him, but every single of the 7 great emperors had the same mentality. Jian Wushuang had control over Jian Yi's brain. For the remaining emperors, Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God, Emperor God Tianling, King Qin Shing, Black Dragon Emperor and Sir Lei Yuan, they were all well-respected and powerful people, but they would never give it their all to kill so many experts in the eternal chaotic realm. This time, however, they had made up their minds. They had no choice. Everything I am going to do is for the eternal chaotic world. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist as he made up his mind. He looked up and looked at the distant space. There, figures with powerful auras were rushing towards him. They were the great emperors residing within the imperial cabinet. There were at least 10 of them. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up. Continue to kill them. I will handle those great emperors. Jian Wushuang yelled and flew towards the 10 great emperors. Many great emperors were rushing towards the 3 statues some distance away from the 3 statues. There were a total of 16 great emperors. This was about half the total fighting power of the three emperors' world. They saw the massacre of the large number of chaotic realm experts and turned pale. The distance between the imperial cabinet and the three statues was not very great. They rushed over immediately after they noticed the battle. However, they still need some time to travel over even if they were great emperors. This time they took was sufficient for the abysmal Saint Master and the remaining 6 great emperors to start the massacre. They could sense that at least 300 experts in the chaotic realm were dead, and the slaughter was still ongoing. Bastard! One of the great emperors cursed. Jianghu Shuang. It is this Jianghu Shuang again. The bald man who looked like a wild beast said. He was the leader of the 16 great emperors. This bald man was Ling Zong. There were 2 people flying alongside him. They were 2 stage 2 great emperors. One of them was in a golden cloak while the other was a white-haired elder woman. As for the remaining 13, they were all stage 1 great emperors. The previous time, the 3 emperors' world knew of his whereabouts and was well prepared for his arrival. We even set a trap for him. Not only did he destroy the Supreme Emperor Stone, he also escaped back into the eternal chaotic world. This time, the 3 emperors' world took precautions and their security was tighter than ever before, yet they still managed to sneak in. Ling Zong roared. What can we do? The Imperial Palace is a place for experts from the 3 emperors' world to come to and gain more resources to become even stronger. Unless we completely seal it off from the rest of the world, someone will eventually sneak past our defenses. One of the well-built middle-aged men standing beside Ling Zong said. This time Jianghu Shuang disguised himself as ancestor Hong Qin, who had disappeared for 1,000,000 years. He disguised himself so well that the intel department of the Imperial Palace had no suspicion as to whether he was real. That's why we allowed him to enter the Imperial Palace to begin with. After hearing this, the great emperors around shook their heads helplessly. They had indeed put out preventive measures to stop Jianghu Shuang and the experts from the eternal chaotic world from entering. In the end it had been useless. If the sacred stone was not destroyed and is still here, many of the secret restrictions within the 3 emperors' world can be used and Jianghu Shuang would not be able to be unrestrained. Ling Zong said. It is no use discussing all this. Let's go and stop the experts from the eternal chaotic world now. The white-haired elderly woman said. When they were communicating, boom. A figure which radiated gloom flew towards them. His body was covered in dark jade light and he was over 10 feet tall. There were 9 heads and 18 arms on his giant body. Each of the 18 arms held a sword. Endless waves of sword essence radiated from him. It was as though he was an undefeatable god. Every one of the 16 great emperors was enraged when they saw this figure. Jianghu Shuang. Zong Ling screeched. Jianghu Shuang continued to make his way towards the 16 of them without any delay. Within moments he appeared in front of the 16 great emperors as his overpowering aura enveloped all of them. The aura was so strong that every great emperor trembled slightly when they felt it. Kill him. Zong Ling roared as the 16 great emperors attacked simultaneously. Zong Ling was the strongest of them. He was the first to take a step and raised his axe high up in the air. Boom. A black axe expanded in size quietly. However, the aura was terrifying. It crashed down towards Jianghu Shuang. The well-built middle-aged man waved his hand, a hand which looked like it was made of jade. The hand too grew in size as it turned into a mountain made entirely out of jade crystals and crashed towards Jianghu Shuang. This mountain felt like it could suppress everything in this world. Lastly, the white-haired elder woman held a dark golden stick. She swung that stick at Jianghu Shuang as numerous shadows of the dark golden stick were seen. These shadows fused together quickly as it attacked Jianghu Shuang. Chapter 2140 Unstoppable Part 1 3 Stage 2 Great Emperors attacked together. Additionally, 13 other Stage 1 Great Emperors attacked with their most powerful skills. There were many different types of attack and each attack could easily kill an Emperor God. At that moment, the 16 attacks flew towards the space Jianghu Shuang was standing in. Boom. A loud boom. The heaven and earth shook. Living things in the vicinity trembled in fear. The space that Jianghu Shuang was standing in was covered in a terrifying storm of divine power. This storm was humongous and it seemed that no great emperor could survive the strangling power of the storm. Is he dead? One of the 16 great emperors who stood in front asked as he stared at the storm. Dead? Ling Zong shook his head as he looked ahead grimly. He clearly knew how scary Jianghu Shuang was. He had fought 13 great emperors fearlessly over 10 years ago. He had had no injuries no matter how many hits he suffered. How could he die so easily with his unmatched self-defense mechanism? Sure enough, A sword light lit up the entire storm of divine power. The terrifying aura of the sword light chopped the storm into half. From the middle of the storm, the same 10-foot-tall figure appeared again. He was still equally powerful and unrestrained. This time, Jian Wushuang dashed towards the 16 great emperors. "Watch out! The devil is here!" Ling Zong screamed as his divine power boiled. Every great emperor stood prepared and looked serious. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang was very fast. He appeared in front of the 16 great emperors and swung his blood mountain sword. A powerful sword essence burst forth. Sword Principle Shen Luo. Blast rainstorm. It had the speed of a gale and contained the power of a thunderstorm. Jian Wushuang slashed out mercilessly towards 6 great emperors. The 6 great emperors turned pale when they saw the sword light. "Let us work together and deflect this attack." Yes. The 6 great emperors made the decision and made their own moves. A terrifying boom exploded as the sword light demolished the attacks the 6 great emperors had cast, and the aftershocks swept out. Out of the 6 great emperors, 3 of them grunted as blood seeped out of the corner of their mouths. The remaining 3 flew back like cannonballs. 6 great emperors tried to deflect the attack from Jian Wushuang. The results: the 6 great emperors had lost. A surging aura came from behind Jian Wushuang. It was a battle axe so large that it filled the sky. It took the chance Jian Wushuang was making his sword skill and ambushed him. The axe was aiming for the head in an attempt to behead him. Jian Wushuang did not even bother looking at the axe as he swung his sword casually. Even though it was a casual swing, the power it contained was still terrifying. One who had great strength could overpower 10 others. Clang. The sound of collision could be heard clearly as the shadow of the axe dissipated. The master of the axe backed off quickly as he looked at Jian Wushuang savagely. He spat out a mouth of blood in the process. The blood covered his body armor as his aura weakened. Jian Wushuang has become much stronger than before. The last time I fought him, I was only at a slight disadvantage when he attacked me with full force. Now, his casual attacks can deflect my most powerful attack and injure me severely? Stage 3. His fighting power must have reached Stage 3. Ling Zong widened his eyes as he stared at Jian Wushuang. He was shocked. Stage 3 Great Emperor. They were the true leaders among the experts in the chaotic realm. Over the course of history, only 3 people had managed to reach it within the 3 emperors' world. These 3 had become the leaders of this world. Now, the fighting power Jian Wushuang was displaying made Ling Zong think that he could be compared to Demon King Chen Yu. At the same time that Ling Zong was marveling at Jian Wushuang's fighting power, "Kill him!" Angry roars filled the entire battlefield as the various great emperors continued their attacks. The attacks were directed at Jian Wushuang as they approached from every angle possible. The numerous great emperors started their besiege on Jian Wushuang. Against these attacks, a unique sword essence could be felt radiating from Jian Wushuang. At that moment, it was as though his large body had turned into a dark vortex that could swallow everything as Jian Wushuang slashed his sword in a weird way. Sword Principle Shen Luo. Mixed Element Spirit. Clang, 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 bang, boom. Waves of noise reverberated through the air as the attacks were all blocked by Jian Wushuang. The terrifying power of the sword principle forced many great emperors back. At that moment, a flash of killing intent could be seen in his eyes as Jian Wushuang attacked. He crossed the distance between him and the closest great emperor and appeared beside him. That was a mere Stage 1 great emperor. Wah! The sword light descended out of nowhere. This sword light was the fastest style in the sword principle Shen Luo. Turned monstrous at one thought. "Watch out!" One of the other great emperors beside him said as a warning. "What?" The lady in red cloak had a terrified expression on her face as she stared at the sword light approaching her. "It is too fast. This slash is too fast. I can't do anything." Desperation was written all over her face as the sword light collided with her body. Even though her body armor was extraordinary, it shattered under the sword light and allowed the slash to penetrate her body, killing her. This is only the first. Jian Wushuang looked at the rest coldly as he picked up the Chen Kuan ring and the remaining treasures. He then continued to attack the remaining 15 great emperors. "Damn it! Bastard!" Terror could be seen on the faces of the remaining 15 angry great emperors. They worked together as 16 great emperors with 3 Stage 2 great emperors when they initiated the attack on Jian Wushuang. The result? Jian Wushuang remained unharmed while one of their comrades died. What was this overbearing fighting power? Chapter 2141 Unstoppable Part 2 Quick, use everything you have. Stop hiding your trump card and use it. Quick, use battle formation. Ling Zong yelled crazily. The eyes of the great emperors turned red. No one held back as they used all of their trump cards. The 10 great emperors formed 2 battle formations in order to have a greater fighting power. Boom. As they used their trump cards, their attacks became significantly stronger. They were much stronger in many aspects such as speed. Jian Wushuang was at the center of all the great emperors. He frowned slightly when he saw the attacks. I should not look down on great emperors, especially when they group up together. Jian Wushuang thought coldly. Jian Wushuang could not defend all of these renewed attacks using sword principle Shen Luo. Since I cannot defend it, I shall not defend it at all. The pressure on Jian Wushuang erupted as his aura grew again. The 5-gem armor he was wearing started to shine brightly as his divine power surged. His body took a step forward, but he did not attempt to block the attacks. Blast. Boom. 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 The waves of attacks collided with his body. After the collision, Jian Wushuang shook and took a few steps back before he charged forwards again. What? This self-defense mechanism. The 15 great emperors were stunned. Jian Wushuang appeared in front of the few great emperors. The middle-aged man was the leader in one of the battle formations of incredible power. Break! Jian Wushuang roared as his blood mountain sword turned into a blood-red dot, as though it was a droplet of fresh blood, and stabbed towards the formation. Sword principle Shen Luo, Sanguis Extremis style. Humph! The well-built middle-aged man grunted as energy was channeled from the great emperors within the formation. The middle-aged man slapped towards the blade. Boom! A colossal palm appeared out of nowhere. This palm crashed head-on with the sword. Initially, it had looked like the 2 powers would be able to go head-to-head. However, a wave of power erupted from the blade as the palm exploded. What remained aura the blade had continued the assault. Boom. Everyone, including the well-built middle-aged man, backed off quickly. The battle formation broke into pieces. How terrifying. I personally commanded the battle formation we formed. The fighting power of the formation was definitely at the peak of a stage 2 great emperor. However, he could destroy the formation with one attack. Without a doubt, his fighting power has reached the power level of a stage 3 great emperor. He is comparable to the 3 emperors that lead our world. The middle-aged man sighed. Jian Wushuang had the momentum as he used one sword skill to destroy a battle formation. He was about to attack the middle-aged man once again when he heard sonic booms behind him. Even though the aura of the attacks behind him were not powerful, Jian Wushuang was interested. He saw 6 streaks of golden light flying straight for his head. Behind the 6 streaks of light was a young man with purple hair. Hongjun Golden Sword? Jian Wushuang smirked. The young man in purple hair was Ziqin and he had fought Jian Wushuang before. The Hongjun Golden Swords he wielded were the legitimate ones. The ones Jian Wushuang was wielding were an imitation of the real ones, hence the power was different. Of course that was before. Now, I have great use for the Hongjun Golden Swords you wield. Hence you shall be second. Jian Wushuang looked at his own 7 golden streaks of light before dashing towards the other 6. 7 against 6, the swords collided head-on. Even though the 7 Hongjun Golden Swords Jian Wushuang was wielding were replicas, it still managed to display power equal to the real ones. Clang, 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 clang. The 6 legitimate Hongjun Golden Swords flew back without a fight. On the other hand, the 7 replica Hongjun Golden Swords that Jian Wushuang was wielding continued to attack Ziqin. What? Ziqin was shocked. He could not imagine how his legitimate Hongjun Golden Swords could lose to the replica Hongjun Golden Swords that Jian Wushuang had. He wanted to escape when he saw the Hongjun Golden Swords flying towards him. However, he was too late. 7 collisions could be heard. The 7 Hongjun Golden Swords each had power levels near that of a stage 2 great emperor. One was enough to kill Ziqin, much less 7 of them. Ziqin had only managed to survive the first 2 hits. The third sword penetrated his head while the remaining destroyed his divine body. Within an instant, another great emperor was dead. Jian Wushuang collected the remaining treasures in Chen Kuan Ring. The second one. Jian Wushuang scanned his surroundings with a bloodthirsty smile. To the great emperors around, this smile looked like a devil's smile. This smile made them feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. They gave their all and tried their best to kill Jian Wushuang. They hoped they could at least hold their ground against this monster, but Jian Wushuang was far too powerful. The fighting power of a stage 3 great emperor was far greater than that of anyone in the area. If Jian Wushuang simply had the fighting power of a normal stage 3 great emperor like Demon King Qinyu, they could fight head-on without fear. However, Jin Wushuang not only had the fighting power of a Stage 3 great emperor, but also a disgustingly powerful self-defense mechanism. He was like a maniac who did not care if he got injured. He only went on the offense. This method of fighting would put his life at risk, but he could be killed by this group of great emperors. On the other hand, Jian Wushuang could kill them easily. He was much scarier than a leader from the Three Emperors world. He had the fighting power, he had good defense, and he did not care about his own injuries. No matter how strong their leaders were, they could not afford to neglect the attacks of a group of enemies. Unlike Jian Wushuang, who did not care at all. He had been invincible since the start of the battle. How to deal with such a person? He himself had suppressed every single great emperor on the battlefield. He had fought 16 great emperors. With his terrifying fighting power, he made the remaining great emperors tremble in fear. Chapter 2142 Seeking Reinforcements. Boom. Jian Wushuang was like a devil, and he found the gap among the various great emperors easily. He dashed in front of a young man in purple armor. Sword light with incredible power stormed down upon the young man. The young man tried to deflect the attacks but was too slow. All he could do was watch the sword light penetrate his armor and mercilessly smash his divine body. He died instantly. The third one. Jian Wushuang looked stern with a strong killing intent. All the great emperors turned pale when they saw yet another of their comrades dead. They wanted to cooperate and kill Jian Wushuang. However, 3 of them had died before they could even harm him. Seek reinforcements. There is nothing we can do to stop him. If this continues, everyone here will die. We cannot stop him unless more peak chaotic realm experts join us or the 3 leaders come down personally to stop him. He is disgustingly powerful. Roars reverberated around this battlefield. Within the short time that they exchanged blows, the great emperors were intimidated. Among the great emperors, Ling Zong too was studying the situation. While they were fighting Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi and King Qinsheng were still killing experts. They were going at such a fast pace that at least 1,000 of them died. There were no remaining almighties around the 3 statues, hence they turned their focus to the remains of the imperial palace. If the killing continued, every single cultivator within the imperial palace would be dead. Lord, help us quickly. Ling Zong frowned as he urged the leaders. The massacre continued within the imperial palace. In the mysterious void in the 3 emperors' world, 4 figures gathered together. They were Kaiser Blood, Lord Fin, Demon King Qinyu and Lung Rushua. When the imperial palace was attacked, they had received the news immediately. This Jian Wushuang. He was lucky he managed to escape the other time. Now he dares to attack us in the imperial palace again? Demon King Qinyu clenched his fist as he was burning with rage. Kaiser Blood, who was covered in a blood-red cloak, looked cold. The previous failures, especially the battle at the Heaven Repairing Palace, allowed the Sanctuary Alliance to have 5 more great emperors while we lost 3 of our own. Our advantage in numbers is no longer here. Now, the Eternal Chaotic World Sent has a small team of experts to ambush the Imperial Palace and kill our experts. If they were successful in doing so and escaped unharmed, we would be at a disadvantage. We cannot allow this to happen. Immediately order experts to reinforce. Kaiser Blood ordered immediately. Demon King Qinyu stood up and said, I have already asked Ba Su to rush over as fast as he can. He can hold Jian Wushuang there for a while. I will go down personally. I will not let that brat escape again. Demon King Qinyu disappeared from the mysterious void and headed for the Imperial Palace. Kaiser Blood looked at where Demon King Qinyu was and knitted his eyebrows. Demon King Qinyu had already sworn to kill Jian Wushuang many times and to cause great damage to the lineup of the Eternal Chaotic World. What were the results? He had failed every single time and returned defeated. Kaiser Blood started questioning his abilities. Even though he did not stop Demon King Qinyu, he turned to Lord Fun and said, Lord Fun, you will reinforce Demon King Qinyu personally. Bring along experts from the Holocaust sect as well. I have received news that Jian Wushuang and his team have already killed many of our experts. We cannot allow that group to escape unharmed. We will be at a severe disadvantage if that happens. Understood. I will go there as fast as I can. He and Lung Rushua disappeared from the palace. Kaiser Blood was the only person left. He sat there in a gloomy mood. His finger was hitting the chair lightly. What was he thinking about? Within the Imperial Palace, the massacre continued. There were 9 great emperors. Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi, Underworld God, King Qinsheng, Black Dragon Emperor, Emperor God Tianling and Lei Yuan who were responsible for it. The entire Imperial Palace was in a storm. The great emperors who were on guard within the palace was stopped by Jian Wushuang alone and could do nothing to help the others. Most importantly, there had been 16 to begin with. Now only 13 were left. More than half of the 13 great emperors had been injured by Jian Wushuang. Even though Jian Wushuang was alone, he had completely suppressed these great emperors. Right when he was about to kill the fourth great emperor. Boom. In the distance, a figure that radiated a tremendous aura was coming towards the battlefield at a fast speed. This aura was fixed on Jian Wushuang. Without a doubt, the figure had come here for Jian Wushuang. The remaining 13 great emperors who were in the battle too looked up at the figure. They soon recognized who the figure was. It's him? Jian Wushuang was surprised. Jian Wushuang recognized the person. Chapter 2143 Meeting Ba Su again. It was an arrogant young man with a hooked nose. His aura could be sensed from afar. The aura was not only way more terrifying than other great emperors, but it also had a strong bloodline aura as well. Jian Wushuang was familiar with this bloodline aura. It was the Sky-Devouring Clan bloodline. It was the Sky-Swallowing Clan's clan leader, Ba Su. The Sky-Swallowing Clan had intended to exterminate the Black Dragon Clan before their plans were discovered by Jian Wushuang. They themselves had been exterminated by Jian Wushuang's alliance with the other three top clans. But they had only destroyed the Sky-Swallowing Clan's base, unable to locate and take down most of the experts who had escaped. The Sky-Swallowing Clan experts vanished soon after and were not to be seen within special tribe domains. But now Jian Wushuang faced Ba Su once again. Jian Wushuang. An uncontainable rage could be felt from Ba Su's voice. Ba Su's eagle eyes were dead on Jian Wushuang. There was still a certain gap between the two of them, but Ba Su's murderous intent had already formed into a deadly storm, heading straight for Jian Wushuang. There was so much resentment against Jian Wushuang. The demise of the Sky-Swallowing Clan and its experts was all Jian Wushuang's doing. Jian Wushuang, you must die. A powerful roar resonated across the heavens. As he approached Jian Wushuang, Ba Su started to leave residual shadows across the void. The residual shadows looked identical to the real person, with no way of telling which one was fake. Shio. With a strange beam of light, Ba Su had already appeared beside Jian Wushuang. Golden claws landed on him like lightning. This speed, Jian Wushuang could not help but be surprised. Jian Wushuang was already at third stage Great Emperor fighting powers and showed no fear against 16 Great Emperors fighting against him at the same time. But the speed Ba Su demonstrated shocked even him, which said much about Ba Su's improvement. Although shocked, Jian Wushuang showed no delay in his reaction. As the golden streak of light could be seen, he broke it with one sword move. Sword Principal Shen Luo turned monstrous at one thought. It was a fast sword move as well. Dang. As the sword light clashed directly with the golden flowing light, a metallic sound was heard. A terrifying power emerged as well. Jian Wushuang was taken aback uncontrollably by the power. Ba Su retreated as well. As both of them retreated, the battle took a short respite. The remaining 13 great emperors surrounding Jian Wushuang stopped their movements as well. Shio. Jian Wushuang quickly stopped and looked towards Ba Su. His gaze turned solemn. Third stage. Jian Wushuang was sure of how powerful he was. But Ba Su's claws went head-on with him and matched him in terms of power. Undoubtedly Ba Su was already at third stage. Haha, bet you didn't see this coming, Jian Wushuang? Ba Su, now positioned at a void far away, started grinning hideously. He looked towards Jian Wushuang with a sense of achievement. You're not the only one blessed with opportunities, I was able to as well. Thanks to you my clan's lair was left destroyed and my experts homeless. Without a choice we had to escape the special tribe's domain. Exactly because of this I found motivation for me to improve. I paid a high price to enter the Three Emperors' world site of opportunity. Luckily for me I managed to understand a bit of the rules of order. Now I am a true third stage Great Emperor. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang's pupils shrank. He knew that with Ba Su's abilities, it would not be possible for him to master rules of order in such a short period of time. But if he had treasures and opportunities to assist him, it would be different. After all, the most useful things for cultivators were opportunities. Ba Su obviously had hit the jackpot with that one. In the surrounding void, the 13 great emperors were all gleaming in delight upon hearing Ba Su's words, their leader Ling Zong included. They did not know who Ba Su was or where he had come from, but now they knew. Ba Su was obviously on their side with third stage powers. That was enough to go against their three leaders. Sir, we'll leave Jian Wushuang to you, Ling Zong said. No problem, Ba Su nodded. Ling Zong glanced upon the other great emperors. Let's go. With that, the 13 great emperors left. They had no intention to continue their fight against Jian Wushuang, as they all knew that even if they were to strike Jian Wushuang, they could never kill him. Furthermore, they had more important work to do. They needed to think of a way to block the frenzied 7 great emperors. If not, all the cultivators within the imperial city would be massacred. Seeing the 13 great emperors escaping, Jian Wushuang did not stop them. Soon, in the large void, only Jian Wushuang and Ba Su remained. Both of their auras were extremely frightening. Jian Wushuang, do you know the price I paid to enter 3 emperors' world's land of opportunity? Ba Su's bloodshot eyes glared at Jian Wushuang. What? Jian Wushuang asked. My freedom. Not for 10,000 years, not 100,000 years, but forever. I have to listen to the 3 emperors' world's leaders for the rest of my life, showing no form of disobedience. I will only be free when I die. Ba Su sounded mad. Jian Wushuang flinched. The price of listening to the 3 emperors' world forever was a heavy price indeed. Haha. 4 billions of years I will be someone else's pawn, but am willing to do so for this opportunity. Do you know why? Ba Su started laughing. Jian Wushuang looked towards Ba Su. My objective is to kill you. Ba Su started grinning deviously. Chapter 2144 Frenzied Ba Su. Jian Wushuang, give me your life. Ba Su made his move. The enormous distance between the duo was instantly closed by Ba Su. Ba Su appeared in front of Jian Wushuang with overflowing golden light all over him, looking like a god. Sun hua, 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 hua. Streaks and streaks of golden claws came down like lightning. Every single golden claw could tear heaven apart. Every streak could have easily wounded a first-stage great emperor or even killed him. The claws came one after another, turning the sky golden. Etching itch. Jian Wushuang snorted, and with a unique sword move, he turned into a heaven-swallowing black whirlpool. Sword Principle Shen Luo Mixed Element Spirit. Chong, 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 chong. Sounds of collision could be repeatedly heard, each sound containing terrifying explosive power. As the golden claws came down like rain, Jian Wushuang found himself retreating. You want parry my attacks? Counter, Jian Wushuang counter. Ba Su had turned mad, his claws never stopped. And they were getting faster and more powerful. Ba Su was already equipped with pinnacle second-stage fighting powers with his sky-swallowing clan bloodline. With the 3 emperors' world's opportunity, he had managed to master a bit of the rules of order, which increased his abilities tremendously. His claws, in terms of speed or power, were way more powerful than they had been in the past. Because of this, he had absolute confidence in his power. He knew Jian Wushuang would never match up to him again. Sure enough, he had completely suppressed Jian Wushuang from the beginning. The speed he threw his golden claws with were amazing. Jian Wushuang could only defend. Haha, useless. Good for nothing. Ba Su laughed wildly. The craze in his eyes was evident. But the craze only lasted for a moment. He realized something was wrong. How could this be? My claws are getting faster and more powerful with every blow. He could only resist in the beginning, it should be more difficult for him to resist later. But why has nothing changed? Ba Su looked at Jian Wushuang in amazement. He knew that if Jian Wushuang was really struggling to resist his attack, it would surely become more difficult to resist as his power increased. This difficulty would definitely manifest during the fierce battle. But in the end, although Jian Wushuang had been retreating the entire time, and it looked like he was being suppressed, nothing has changed since. What could this mean? It meant that when Jian Wushuang resisted his attack, it was not as strenuous as he had imagined, or was it too easy for him? Sure enough, etching itch. A cold snort resonated through the void. Jian Wushuang, who had been defending Ba Su's attacks with his mixed element spirit swordsmanship, suddenly took the offensive. Mixed element spirit swordsmanship instantly turned into the sanguis extremis style. The sword light had cut down the oncoming golden claw. The power released from the collision was enough to throw Ba Su back. Jian Wushuang stood there, looking indifferently at the recomposed Ba Su. This is the power you were proud of? With this power you want to take me down? There was disdain in his eyes, and his voice echoed through the heavens. How is that possible? Ba Su widened his eyes and stared at Jian Wushuang. It felt impossible, but Jian Wushuang had easily thrown Ba Su back. Idiot, you think everyone needs to sacrifice 1,000,000 years of their freedom to reach third-stage Great Emperor fighting powers? Jian Wushuang sneered. You reached the third stage as well? Ba Su looked stunned. Ba Su had rushed towards the imperial city upon Demon King Chen Ye's message and had not paid much thought to Jian Wushuang's fighting power. Even when he had arrived, he did not notice Jian Wushuang's true fighting power when he was going against the 13 great emperors. Even though he had confronted Jian Wushuang once at the beginning, Jian Wushuang had not demonstrated his true power then. He would never have imagined Jian Wushuang to possess that kind of power. But now, he had finally realized. Fool, you dare call me useless? I'm afraid calling you useless would do the word a disservice. Jian Wushuang looked at Ba Su, full of ridicule. He had never intended to use his full strength against Ba Su. He simply wanted to know how far Ba Su had improved in mastering a bit of rules of order. The results were disappointing. I thought that with his previous fighting power, coupled with the sky-swallowing clan bloodline power, with the rules of order he would be tyrannical amongst the third stages. Not only did he fail to master the complete rules of order, but the power he can use from it is negligible. Although this leaves him with third stage fighting power, it's nothing compared to Demon King Chen Yu, Jian Wushuang sneered. Jian Wushuang's contempt and ridicule made Ba Su even angrier. You have a death wish. Ba Su's eyes seemed to spit fire. At the same time, his body started to transform into a giant golden bat. The golden bat had his golden eyes fixed on Jian Wushuang. Li. An eye-piercing, hissing voice echoed. At the same time, the surface of Ba Su's body emitted a strong golden light, like a dazzling golden sun. This move again? Jian Wushuang was indifferent. Wrong, it's not only the sky-swallowing clan soul attack, but there is also a powerful secret skill embedded within it as well. Maybe a soul attack treasure as well? Jian Wushuang was surprised. He had seen Ba Su play that trick several times. Every time Ba Su made his move, it was a simple soul attack. But now there was an embedded secret skill, along with an auxiliary soul attack treasure. His soul attack power had naturally soared. It seems that he's gained more than simple opportunities within the Three Emperors world, Jian Wushuang mumbled. Chapter 2145. Not enough. Ba Su had morphed into a golden bat once again, his eyes filled with bloodlust. The opportunity Three Emperors world has not only allowed me to master rules of order, it has increased my soul power tremendously as well. I even learned a strong soul attack secret skill and obtained a soul attack treasure from the Three Emperors world. With my soul power, along with the sky-swallowing clan soul attack, the secret skill and the treasure, is unparalleled against anyone below third stage great emperors. This Jian Wushuang exposed his weakness to me both times that I fought against him. His soul. His soul is not strong. With a soul attack strong enough, I'll ignore his self-defense mechanism and kill him instantly. This move I'm about to make will definitely kill him. Jian Wushuang, prepare to die. The frenzied Ba Su was absolutely confident in his soul attack skills. He had heard of Jian Wushuang's self-defense mechanism. Decades ago, when he just had second-stage fighting powers, he was able to face Demon King Chen Yu head-on without dying. His self-defense mechanism had become scarier. It was impossible to kill Jian Wushuang by material attack alone. In this world, under the premise of constrictions, no one could do it. But soul attacks could ignore the self-defense mechanism and pierce the opponent's soul. Only soul attacks could truly kill Jian Wushuang. A terrifying soul attack was heading straight for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's eyes squinted, but he darted out instead of retreating. During his movements, the soul attack pierced straight into Jian Wushuang. Hitching hitch. Jian Wushuang let out a weird moan and his face turned pale. But his body was not damaged by the attack at all. The Blood Mountain sword was already raised high, prepared to strike Ba Su. How could this be? Ba Su, still in the form of a golden bat, was surprised. He dared not believe it. Jian Wushuang had survived his strongest soul attack. Not only did he survive, he also did not seem to have suffered many injuries. When had Jian Wushuang's soul defense power become so powerful? Idiot! The decisive battle between the eternal chaotic world and the Three Emperors world is about to begin. Knowing my soul was my weakness, you thought I would not take precautions? Jian Wushuang sneered. What kind of soul defense treasure do you possess? Ba Su could not help but ask. Jian Wushuang could not be bothered explaining it to him. The Blood Mountain sword had already fallen. Sword Principal Shen Luo, Blast Rainstorm. This was also the first time that Jian Wushuang went on the offensive against Ba Su. With the help of Immemorial Celestial Bodhi's second scroll, bloodline power of the ancient clan doubled with Sword Principal Shen Luo's most powerful move. This sword move's power was enough to make any great emperor below the third stage fall into despair. Damn it! Ba Su could feel the power of the sword. Immediately he exerted his means to resist. A loud bang went off. Ba Su's body was split apart, and a blast of flowing light was released. The gap in strength and power could be seen immediately. Ba Su, you've run out of moves? Now it's my turn. Jian Wushuang's desire to kill was at its peak. His huge ancient clan body started to make its attack. As he was about to make his move, a huge space tunnel appeared from far, at a void above the imperial cabinet. Several figures stepped out of the space tunnel. There were 7 people, all of their strong auras indicative of their great emperor levels. And headed by them was Demon King Chenyu. Demon King Chenyu had rushed into the imperial city with 6 other great emperors. 3 of the great emperors belonged to the Acheron Palace, the other 3 were 3 emperors' world experts. As the battle within the imperial city began, many experts of the 3 emperors' world arrived at the battlefield through various channels at Kaiser Blood's command. Jian Wushuang. Demon King Chenyu's eyes were fuming with rage, like he was a furious lion. He looked around the battlefield and saw an ugly sight. Every corner of the imperial city had turned into a bloodbath. Countless experts had fallen into the hands of Abysmal Saint Master and the other great emperors. Although the 7 great emperors have now been stopped by Ling Zong and other 3 emperors' world great emperors, the slaughter from before was enough to traumatize anyone. Jian Wushuang, the 8 of you all will die with our fallen. Demon King Chenyu let out a huge scream and headed towards Jian Wushuang. The 6 great emperors behind him rushed into the battlefield and joined forces with Ling Zong and the other 13 great emperors, fighting fiercely against Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi and the others. The battle had been elevated to a whole new level. Jian Wushuang did not have the slightest fear when he saw Demon King Chenyu coming for him. Let's go. Bring it on. Jian Wushuang's warfighting spirit had long been ignited, his abilities were at an all-time high. Die. Demon King Chenyu and Ba Su made their moves at the same time. 2 third-stage great emperors were joining forces against Jian Wushuang. Even against 2 enemies, with that almost indestructible unique constitution of his, Jian Wushuang had no fear. He looked as if he was already in a frenzy fighting against Demon King Chenyu and Ba Su, but deep inside he had never been calmer. Deep in his eyes was a light. Demon King Chenyu, Ba Su, 2 third-stage great emperors. Along with the great emperors Abysmal Saint Master and Jian Yi are fighting against, that makes 19 great emperors. There are still a few more Sir Gods and Emperor God experts left in the imperial city as well. This power, Jian Wushuang squinted. The forces that had gathered in the imperial city were terrifying. But it was not enough for Jian Wushuang. Not enough. There are not enough experts here. Far from enough. The number of experts here is not enough to devastate the 3 emperors' world. Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. In his Chen Kun ring was the Void token. He could use the token anytime he wanted. Wait. Jian Wushuang could not use it yet. Chapter 2146 Poised to attack Thunderbolt Island, Eternal Chaotic World. While the battle broke out at the Imperial City, countless experts had gathered. Not only the Human Sanctuary Alliance but the Special Tribes Alliance as well. There were countless experts. At a glance, there was no fewer than 4,000 people. 4,000 may not sound like a lot, but if the 4,000 people were all almighties, the power would be enough to shock the world. The birth of an almighty was not easy at all. Any one of them could be regarded as an overlord, every single one of them could easily open regions and dominate kingdoms. There were at most a dozen almighties in the Sanctuary Alliance. 4,000 was a terrifying number. Only when the 2 major alliances joined forces and gathered almost all the elites in the Eternal Chaotic World could such a number be produced. It was Eternal Chaotic World's maximum strength. Every single almighty around was eager. They knew why Emperor Bai had gathered them. No doubt it had to be for the final battle. Within the Presbytery Pavilion, the great emperors from both alliances had gathered. Even putting Jian Wushuang's team of 8 great emperors aside, both alliances could produce over 20 great emperors when they joined forces. Many of those 20 great emperors came from the human domain. Many did not belong to the Sanctuary Alliance beforehand. Joining the alliance was an inevitable choice for the upcoming battle, like Master Wu and Great Emperor Donggu. The great emperors were excited as well. King Luoyu, there are no problems over at the Special Tribe side, right? Emperor Bai looked towards King Luoyu and Quan. Rest assured, Emperor Bai. The ancient emperor instructed all Special Tribe experts to heed your commands before he left. With your orders, all experts of the Special Tribes Alliance have rushed toward Thunderbolt Island. No one has kept any tactics from us. The many Dao soldiers and ancient god blood essences that the ancient god clan collected were all distributed. "We are ready," King Luo Yu said solemnly. With Jian Wushuang, King Qin Shing and Black Dragon Emperor headed for Three Emperors World, many issues of the Special Tribes Alliance were left to King Luo Yu and In Quan. "Good," Emperor Bai smiled and nodded, turning to the other person by his side. "Tianqin, how are our Sanctuary Alliance soldiers?" "They have all gathered," Ancestor Tianqin said. "As you ordered, all experts who decided to join the battle were given the secret skills of Star Palace. Most of them can use the secret skills of Star Palace's first scroll. The Sanctuary Alliance and other forces have collated their hard-collected resources and redistributed them. Most of them now hold a mixed elements pill that can restore their divine power in a short period of time, and a heavenly life pill that can restore their divine bonus injuries. Even without those two pills, they will at least have replacement elixirs and treasures. Many experts of the Sanctuary Alliance will be able to set up certain battle formations. Lastly, the trump cards we have, like the Heaven-Piercing Arrow Dragon Imprisoning Formation, Blood Thunder Pill, Star God Puppet, and the Emperor Token, have all been prepared." Emperor Bai nodded in satisfaction. "Everything is ready, we just need to wait for Jian Wushuang to use the Void Token." Emperor Bai clenched his fists. Many of the great emperors were anxious. They were all waiting for the battle. In the Imperial City, the battle continued. The battle had split into two battlefields. The first battlefield was filled with many great emperors fighting fiercely. There were 7 great emperors from the Eternal Chaotic World, and 19 from the Three Emperors World. The quantity was not in proportion, but the 7 great emperors from the Eternal Chaotic World were of high quality. The weakest of the 7, Emperor God Tianling and Lei Yuan, were at pinnacle first stage. The rest were all second stage great emperors. Especially Jianyi. As Jian Wushuang's sword servant, and an ancient era expert whose abilities had been fully restored, Jianyi's powers were at pinnacle second stage levels. With the many skills he had an advantage over Ling Zong and Wei Yin, the 2 middle-aged second stage great emperors. The remaining 6 great emperors were all using their full combat powers. With Jian Wushuang's additional 5 fire godly spirit mirror, releasing the 5 godly spirits into the battlefield, their total strength was not inferior to the 19 emperors of the Three Emperors Worlds. The battle between both sides was extremely fierce, but it was difficult to determine victory and defeat in such a short time. The second battlefield was where Jian Wushuang was located. Jian Wushuang was in his enormous ancient clan form, with his 9 heads and 18 arms. He had no fear of going against the 2/3 stage great emperors Demon King Qinyu and Ba Su at the same time. He could not take down the 2/3 stage great emperors in front of him, but neither could Demon King Qinyu and Ba Su, who had joined forces. Both battlefields were in a stalemate. But not for long. From the Imperial Cabinet, another huge space tunnel appeared. A series of figures emerged from the space tunnel. At a glance, there were hundreds of people. Most of them were Sir Gods and Emperor Gods, but the 8 at the forefront standing side by side, with their magnificent auras, were true great emperors. From the Holocaust sect? Jian Wushuang's pupils narrowed. A blood-tainted robe and that eerie aura emanating from them confirmed the identity of the people. But what made Jian Wushuang surprised was that amongst these Holocaust sect experts, Leng Ruxue was nowhere to be seen. Instead, there was a red-haired elder. That elder stood there and his aura felt like a raging flame that had burned for endless years. Jian Wushuang felt tremendous pressure from him. It was much stronger than when he had faced Ba Su and Demon King Qinyu. Chapter 2147 Void Token, Lord Fun? Jian Wushuang's pupils shrank. He heard Emperor Bai mention the 3 known third-stage great emperors in the Three Emperors World. They were Kaiser Blood, Lord Fin and Demon King Qinyu. Demon King Qinyu was the leader of Acheron Palace and had exchanged blows with Jian Wushuang several times, but Jian Wushuang had never encountered Kaiser Blood and Lord Fun. That raging elder with the Holocaust sect experts was undoubtedly Lord Fun. "Qinyu, I knew you were a good-for-nothing." Lord Fun glanced at Demon King Qinyu with a hint of taunt. "Asshole." Demon King Qinyu could not help but curse. "You're Jian Wushuang?" Lord Fun looked towards Jian Wushuang. "I was in seclusion this entire time, never bothering myself with the eternal chaotic world. I would never have let you reach where you are today, but it does not matter. I will kill you today. Die." With Lord Fin's command, the experts behind him charged towards the battlefield with the other great emperors. He went straight for Jian Wushuang. Ong long long. A terrifying aura started to spread from Lord Fun. His body swept over like a volcano that erupted for billions of years. Wherever he went, the void around was completely dissipated by the fire. When Lord Feng approached Jian Wushuang felt an unprecedented aura of fire charging towards him. The void in front of him had turned into a boundless sea of fire. At the core of this sea of fire was a fiery lord, over 5 meters tall, holding a flaming battle sword in his hands. He rose the flaming sword and slashed down towards the earth. Voila! The entire void was covered by endless flames. The flaming sword was enough to burn everything around. Jian Wushuang stood and watched the flaming sword slashing down towards him. Demon King Qinyu was the weakest amongst the 3 elite experts of the 3 Emperors' world. This Lord Feng is stronger than Demon King Qinyu, but by how much I do not know. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists firmly, and a bloodthirsty smile appeared on his face. He had no intention to dodge the flaming sword. His surging divine power rose from his body, along with a supreme sword essence. Jian Wushuang at this moment was the Emperor of Swords. His sword was the Sword of Emperor. Surging divine power entered the sword, and a shocking sword image could be seen. Emperor Sword Principle, Second Style. This was the strongest sword move Jian Wushuang knew. The shocking sword image went head-on with that flaming sword. Confronting toughness with toughness. The world shook. The monstrous flames and endless sword essence dissipated. This collision did not lead to a stalemate. The battle was decided in an instant. This level of power? Jian Wushuang was shocked. He could feel a power passing through his arm, so strong that even his self-defense mechanism could not ignore it. Instantly, his body moved directly towards the earth like a meteorite. Eventually, he slammed on the ground below, creating a huge, bottomless pit. The next moment, Jian Wushuang rose from the pit. So strong. Jian Wushuang had his eyes fixed on Lord Feng. Both were third-stage great emperors, but Lord Feng's fighting power was way more powerful than Demon King Qinyu and Basu's. Jian Wushuang estimated if Lord Feng was not at the pinnacle third-stage level, he was close. This fighting power was way above his. Sword Emperor. A low howl came from the other battlefield. Jian Wushuang turned towards the sound and realized that Abysmal Saint Master, Jian Yi and the others were already at a disadvantage. This was normal. They could fight 19 great emperors at the same time, but with the new Holocaust sect experts in the battlefield, along with other distraction tactics done by other almighties at the sidelines, they could not hold on any longer. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang's face darkened. 3 third-stage great emperors, 26 first or second-stage great emperors, countless. This is enough. Jian Wushuang was determined. The void token was now in his hands. Lord Feng, Demon King Qinyu and Basu saw the token as well. What token was that? Basu was puzzled. The token contains great space-time power. Is he trying to escape? Demon King Qinyu's face changed. Escape? Not on my watch. Lord Feng's face was ice-cold. The 3 Emperors' world had lost too much during that sneak attack. The only way to rebalance the overall fighting power on both sides was if Jian Wushuang and the other great emperors stayed. Jian Wushuang and others could not be allowed to escape. Thinking of this, Lord Feng's blazing flames once again covered the earth, and the entire battlefield, locking down the entire void. With his strength, he had created a space-time seal, which made normal space-time tokens useless. Jian Wushuang, you cannot escape. Prepare to die. With a low roar, Lord Feng, who had transformed into a blazing lord once again, headed towards him. Jian Wushuang squinted. With Lord Feng's power, along with Demon King Qinyu and Basu's cornering, if Jian Wushuang did not escape he could really die. However, who told you I was escaping? Jian Wushuang's cheeky smile was as sharp as a blade. It is you who should be fleeing. Jian Wushuang clenched his right fist firmly and broke the void token. A vast power of spacetime immediately swept through the environment. The power of spacetime was beyond Lord Feng's imagination. Normal spacetime measures would be ineffective under his spacetime seal, but he was unable to stop the billowing spacetime power. A huge space tunnel appeared in the void of the Imperial City. A strong light could be seen in Jian Wushuang's eyes. Step 2 has begun. Chapter 2148 The Sudden Decisive Battle on Thunderbolt Island, Eternal Chaotic World, countless experts waited in silence. Finally, the power of spacetime created a huge spacetime tunnel above Thunderbolt Island. The experts' eyes all lit up at the sight of the tunnel. Emperor Bai and the countless great emperors from both alliances appeared in front of the tunnel immediately. Looking at the tunnel in front of him, Emperor Bai's eyes lit up. His voice echoed around Thunderbolt Island. The great battle has arrived. Fellow warriors, Let us slaughter our way into the Three Emperors world to eradicate eternal chaotic world's largest tumor. Emperor Bai was the first to step into the time-space tunnel. The countless experts behind him did not hesitate and followed suit. Countless more almighties entered as well. The void above the imperial city. Lord Fen and Demon King Chenyu felt something was amiss when the huge space-time tunnel appeared. They could tell the tunnel was extraordinary. It was too big. The power of space-time was too strong. Jian Wushuang would not use such a big space-time tunnel to escape. And with what Jian Wushuang had just said, as Lord Fen and Demon King Chenyu were lost in thought, a figure appeared from the other side of the tunnel. He had white hair and white pupils, his fair complexion was terrifying as well. No aura came from him, but he still found himself under the spotlight. Lord Fen and Demon King Chenyu could not help but fix their eyes upon that person. Emperor Bai. Lord Fen and Demon King Chenyu were flustered. Both of them have fought against Emperor Bai before, they knew how terrifying he was. Now, Emperor Bai stood before them once again. And it was not just Emperor Bai. Figure after figure appeared from the tunnel. Red Dragon King, Ancestor Tian Qin, Colored Glaze Emperor, East Royal Emperor and other great emperors from the Sanctuary Alliance. King Luo Yu, King Zhan Tsang, and Quan and other great emperors from the Special Tribes Alliance. There were over 20 people. Following them were countless almighties. The number alone was shocking. Within a short period of time, all the experts from the eternal chaotic world arrived at the Imperial City through the space-time tunnel. The fact that Lord Fen, Demon King Chenyu and Basu were third-stage great emperors did not stop them from gasping at the sight of so many figures. Not to mention the other three emperors' world experts. They completely froze. Emperor Bai's intention was clear as day. Everyone let the slaughter begin. A faint sound came from Emperor Bai. The 20 great emperors and 4,000-odd almighties moved. Die. 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 Kill them all. The cries resonated across the entire imperial city. The figures headed for the three emperors' world experts like a swarm of bees. This had many three emperors' world experts dumbfounded. Crap. The final battle. It was the final battle. The final battle has begun. Voices of terror could be felt from the three emperors' world experts. And indeed it had begun. But the battle was so sudden the enemy was not prepared for it at all. Technically they had begun their preparations quite a while back, but they had never expected the eternal chaotic world experts to start the final battle in such a manner. First, a team of experts to deal as much damage to the three emperors' world as possible. When the three emperors' world experts came to their assistance, they crushed the void token, allowing the entire eternal chaotic world army to arrive instantly. It was too sudden. The three emperors' world was caught unprepared. At that special dark void, Kaiser Bloodsat had been sitting peacefully, waiting for the imperial city's good news. But his face had changed. Final battle. Crap, we've been played. A grunt was made and Kaiser Blood disappeared from the void. The imperial city was now in complete chaos. The eternal chaotic world army had directly made their way towards the three emperors' world great emperors and almighties. All of them were dying to kill. At the vanguard was Ancestor Tian Qin. Dragon imprisoning formation. Ancestor Tian Qin let out a low roar, heard by a few behind him. The people that heard him all took out an ancient black rock. The black rock let out a mysterious aura. Without hesitation they threw the rocks at the three emperors' world experts. There were 6 rocks thrown out. The rocks then exploded on the way out and formed a huge formation. 6 ancient formations were formed, covering 6 different voids. The 6 voids covered much of the great emperors amongst the three emperors' world experts. What is this? The experts trapped in the formation were shocked and tried to break it down. But soon they realized that the formation was so strong it was practically indestructible. Even when the great emperors combined their powers, they could not take it down. They could only leave the formation when its energy had dissipated. The dragon imprisoning formation had been one of Sanctuary Alliance's trump cards since the ancient era. Once the formation was set, even great emperors could not break it. The 6 dragon imprisoning formations had now taken away the three emperors' world's experts' opportunity for escape. Heaven-piercing arrows, stand by. Ancestor Tian Qin gave the order via transmission. In the void behind the eternal chaotic world army was a dozen almighties. They did not charge into the battlefield like the others. In front of them were 4 huge ballistae. Chapter 2149. All the trump cards. The ballistae were usually only found in the mortal world. Its presence was extremely rare in the eternal chaotic world. But the 4 ballistae above the void were from the ancient era. The four ballistae needed a dozen almighties to draw the bow alone, which explained the many almighties manning the devices. Now, the four bows were completely drawn with the use of the almighty's power. But the most precious part of the ballista was not its bow, but the black arrow on it. The four arrows were called heaven-piercing arrows. Loose? An almighty shouted. The four crossbows were released at the same time. Four black flowing lights exploded out. It was too fast. So fast, even a great emperor could not react in time. The four ballistae were aiming for the four great emperors of the three emperors world. The four were only first-stage great emperors trapped in the dragon imprisoning formation, still figuring out a way to escape. When the four black flowing lights were released, the four great emperors had an unprecedented sense of impending crisis. They did not know where the sense of impending crisis came from, but by the time they had reacted, the four black flowing lights had already penetrated them. The four great emperors looked at the black arrows in shock. They could feel the devastating power the arrows had, leading them to despair. Four black flowing lights penetrated their protective armor, going through their bodies. For corpses fell straight down to the ground. The heaven-piercing arrow was known for its deadliness, even during the ancient era. In fact, the four ballistae could not fully bring out the power of the arrows. But it was enough to take down a great emperor easily. The Sanctuary Alliance had only managed to collect 9 of such arrows since its founding. Now they had used 4 in one shot. Star God puppets roll out. Ancestor Tianqin let out a roar. From the front of the crowd, boom. Honk, honk, honk. Several violent auras erupted. 6 great beings appeared on the battlefield. They were all over 10 meters tall, but not a single trace of life could be felt from within them. It was obvious that they were puppets. However, the aura radiated by those puppets was enough to scare countless almighties. Star God puppets. They were unique puppets obtained from ancient battlefields. Each puppet required a lot of resources and divine power to operate. But the moment they were activated, they were at pinnacle first-stage fighting power. Now, operated by the Sanctuary Alliance at a high price, the puppets headed straight for the three Emperors' world experts. In an instant, the eternal chaotic world army collided with the three Emperors' world experts. Every single eternal chaotic world expert was driven by bloodlust. Most of them were in their battle formations. Some powerful formations, like the one driven by 3 Emperor gods and 12 Pinnacle Sir gods, fought directly against the 3 Emperors' world Great Emperor. Get lost. The Great Emperor's stone rod in his hands skyrocketed in the void to form a huge mountain. The mountain went straight for the formation. With a loud bang, the formation had to retreat, but it did not collapse. A great emperor indeed. 3 Emperor gods and 12 Sir gods working together were still forced out by him. I guess there is only one method left, an Emperor god within the formation said solemnly. The others understood what he meant. Wah, wah, wah. A peculiar force rose from the 3 Emperor gods and 12 Sir gods. It was star power. At that moment, they had used the secret skills of Star Palace simultaneously. Although they had only read up the secret skills of Star Palace's first scroll, it was enough to increase their powers tenfold. With their powers increased substantially, the battle formation reached a whole new level. We have 10 breaths worth of time to take him down. We must at least wound him. The leading Emperor god said, and with that, the battle formation charged towards the Great Emperor. Both sides began their brawl once again. In a rage, the Great Emperor raised his stone rod with much more strength. The giant that had been formed by the battle formation threw a heavy punch. A loud explosion could be heard from the battlefield. The giant did not retreat at all, while the 3 Emperors' world Great Emperor was left wide-eyed, trembling. Blood was flowing from his mouth. How could this be possible? The Great Emperor was astonished. But the giant did not stop and seized all the remaining time it had left. Master Wu of the Eternal Chaotic World had his eyes fixed on the Great Emperor as well. Together they had completely suppressed that Great Emperor. 1 breath, 2 breaths. 9 breaths passed in the blink of an eye. Last breath, the leading Emperor god said. As the giant threw out his last punch, 3 flowing lights burst out of the giant's body. The 3 streaks of flowing light were in fact 3 purple beads. It was another trump card of the Sanctuary Alliance, the Blood Thunder Pearl. The Blood Thunder Pearl was so strong that it was almost comparable to the blow of a great emperor. Now, 3 of the pearls were headed towards that great emperor, along with Master Wu's sword suppressing him. Chapter 2150 Overwhelming Superiority. The 3 Blood Thunder Pearls immediately exploded upon contact with the Great Emperor. Three violent forces erupted from the blood thunder pearls. The power was directed towards that three emperors' world great emperor, and at the same time, Master Wu made his lethal sword stroke. A storm of divine power immediately rolled up. After it had dissipated, what remained was an unbearable scene of the great emperor. Not only was his complexion pale, his entire body was also stained with blood, and his breath was extremely weak. Did we injure him enough? The three emperor gods and 12 pinnacle sir gods' eyes lit up. Their secret skills of Star Palace had stopped by then. Without the secret skills of Star Palace, we can no longer engage ourselves in great emperor-level fights. Let's leave the rest to Master Wu. Immediately, the giant left for another battlefield. The same scenario was happening at all corners of the battlefield. The Sanctuary Alliance had over 100 blood thunder pearls, and every pearl contained the power equivalent to a great emperor when it exploded. The blood thunder pearls were distributed in the hands of many emperor gods and sir gods, and played a great role at critical times. All the trump cards and meticulously prepared treasures helped the Eternal Chaotic World Army bring unprecedented damage to the three emperors' world. The situation on the battlefield was completely one-sided. There was no room for struggle. Actually, the overall strength of the three emperors' world was not weaker than the Eternal Chaotic World by one bit. Perhaps it was even stronger. However, they suffered because they had been caught by surprise. They were unprepared. They had suffered terrible losses from the very beginning. By the time they could react, their power was no match for the Eternal Chaotic World. The most they could do was block the Eternal Chaotic World's attacks. The defense could not last for long. As the Eternal Chaotic World's army charged towards the three Emperor's world experts, Emperor Bai made his move at the other battlefield. His opponents were naturally Lord Fun and Demon King Chenyu. A huge, immaculate golden shadow rose from behind Emperor Bai. It was a golden emperor. He was 99,000 feet tall, 3,000 feet wide, with a pair of golden pupils that could see everything. Like a golden arc, it was as if the entire world had surrendered under his feet. As the golden shadow appeared, Emperor Bai's aura reached its climax. He made his move. The white, slender arm made a fist, and explosive power began to be concentrated. The 99,000-foot golden shadow did the same and held his right fist tightly. Emperor Bai punched out. Long. The void in front scattered instantly. It swept over everything. It was as if nothing, including heaven and earth, space and time, could resist that punch. Lord Fun and Demon King Chenye's faces changed. They had both fought against Emperor Bai before. They knew how scary he was. The punch and its imposing power frightened both of them. Together, Lord Fun billowed. His flames rise towards the sky once again. The fiery lord he had morphed into also rose to hundreds of feet tall. He was like the master of the world's flames. As the fiery lord held the flame sword with both of his hands, the sword started to emit a terrifying power. The power billowing divine power, secret skills and rules of order. The rules of order were extremely violent. Cut. The fiery lord let out a loud roar, and the fiery blade swung down immediately. The fiery power from the draw of the blade incinerated everything around into dust. Demon King Chenyu made his move as well. He displayed his 8 arms, each holding a divine weapon. At that moment, the 8 divine weapons unleashed their potential and charged towards Emperor Bai. Soon their attacks came into contact with Emperor Bai's shocking punch. A loud bang. The large golden fist rammed through the flaming blade, crushing Demon King Chenye's 8 divine weapons, and continued its attack. Long. A terrifying power was in play. Lord Fun and Demon King Chenyu were darting out like bombshells. Too strong. Lord Fun marveled. Jianghu Shuang, who had witnessed that scene from afar, was dumbfounded as well. 1 versus 2, crushing the enemies as well. Emperor Bai is strong indeed. Demon King Chenyu only possessed average 3rd stage Great Emperor fighting powers. But Lord Fun was near pinnacle 3rd stage level, yet he was ridiculously far behind Emperor Bai. This will be much easier now that Emperor Bai has joined the fight. Jianghu Shuang smiled and stared at his opponent. Lord Fun and Demon King Chenyu were both marked by Emperor Bai. Now Jianghu Shuang's only opponent left was Ba Su. Let's do this, Ba Su. Jianghu Shuang's voice was harsh and charged towards him. Back at the Imperial City, the battle had become extremely intense. But the situation was obvious. The 3 Emperors' world experts were retreating. The gap between the 2 worlds' overall power was getting wider. This excited many experts of the Eternal Chaotic World. They knew that the opponent was about to crumble. They just needed to continue to fight on and victory would be theirs. But as Three Emperors' world was at the verge of collapse, Wang, a beautiful crimson figure, appeared above the imperial city via space tunnel. His appearance was well marked by his strong bloodlust. The smell of blood, its density, was unprecedented. Many experts could not help but turn over. The Three Emperors' world experts were elated. On the other hand, the eternal chaotic world's experts' pupils shrunk sharply. Kaiser Blood. He's finally arrived? Emperor Bai showed a baffling smile. Chapter 2151 Kaiser Blood. Arrival. Kaiser Blood. One of three leaders in the Three Emperors' world, and the strongest expert amongst them. Even the other two leaders looked to him for leadership. But Kaiser Blood barely showed up. The previous time the Supreme Emperor Stone had been destroyed by Jianghu and others in the Imperial City, it had been Lord Fun and Demon King Chenyu that had moved out. He hid in the shadows. But now Kaiser Blood could no longer sit still. The void above the Imperial City was Kaiser Blood's fuzzy figure. His bloodshot eyes got a good look of the entire battlefield. His heart sunk upon the sight. At this moment, boom! A terrifying aura billowed over him. Kaiser Blood looked up, and realized Emperor Bai had appeared in front of him. Emperor Bai's giant golden shadow remained standing, its desire for battle rising tremendously. Kaiser Blood, I finally get to meet you. Emperor Bai's voice was clear, with vast golden divine power coming out from him every time he spoke. It became a huge ocean of golden divine power. Emperor Bai was at the center of the wave of golden divine power. He clenched his fists and threw a punch. The punch stirred the entire golden divine power sea, and arrived at Kaiser Blood within the blink of an eye. Emperor Bai? Kaiser Blood squinted. He had heard of many stories regarding Emperor Bai, so he dared not let his guard down. Immediately he took a single step, releasing a horrifyingly bloody aura throughout the entire battlefield. Kaiser Blood's hazy right fist was covered by a crimson glow. He pointed his finger towards the void in front of him. With a finger, boundless crimson light burst forth, and a huge sculpture was formed in the void. The sculpture was taller than Emperor Bai's 99,000-foot-tall golden shadow, at a sitting position to top it up. It was a crimson divine demon. Its three eyes were all fixated on Emperor Bai. An ancient aura was dispersed. At the same time, dong, 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 dong. Ancient bell sounds meandered across the heavens. The bell sound contained a special charisma, stopping many cultivators below Great Emperor level, leaving them dazed. The crimson divine demon made its move. The gigantic palms of his clapped. With one clap, heavens and earth fell silent. The palm was increasing in size. Finally, the palm came into contact with Emperor Bai's golden shadow's fist. Emperor Bai was slightly taken aback. The golden shadow behind him dimmed down quite a bit as well. The crimson divine demon statue in front of him on the other hand collapsed immediately, as the crimson light scattered out. Within moments, the crimson divine demon was destroyed, blowing Kaiser Blood away. Kaiser Blood took a moment to compose himself. Indeed, the strongest expert in the world, Kaiser Blood said, his bloodshot eyes still fixed on Emperor Bai. You're not too bad yourself, much stronger than Lord Fun and Demon King Chenyu, Emperor Bai said, but there was doubt in his eyes. He could sense that Kaiser Blood's situation was peculiar. It's a shame I do not have the time today. If I did, I would really like to witness your inverse cultivation for myself, Kaiser Blood said. Trying to escape? Emperor Bai asked. Kaiser Blood simply smiled back. As he smiled, countless crimson light rays shone on him. Kaiser Blood at that moment had become a huge dazzling crimson sun. The crimson sun shone its bloodshot rays all over, forming a continuous sea of blood, sweeping in from all directions. The sea of blood was so vast and the power it contained was extremely unique. Even Emperor Bai's golden divine power sea could not stop it. In an instant, the sea of blood covered every corner of the Imperial City's battlefields. Space tunnels started to appear from that very sea. Those space tunnels were formed haphazardly by the sea of blood, numerous and all located near the Three Emperors' world experts. The space tunnels released a terrifying suction immediately. Many Three Emperors' world experts, like the average Emperor gods, Sir gods, were all drawn in involuntarily, and eventually disappeared into the space tunnel along with other great emperors. In an instant, the Three Emperors' world experts that had flooded the battlefields all disappeared. That included the great emperors including Lord Fin, Demon King Chenyu and Basu. The eternal chaotic world experts were simply unable to stop them. When Jianghu realized Basu was gravitating towards the space tunnel, he immediately performed the moon-picking skill in an attempt to seal the surrounding spacetime. But he realized as he was about to perform the moon-picking skill, he was blown away by the Sea of Blood's impact. He could not force Basu to stay. Only one person from the three Emperors' world forces remained in the Imperial City. It was Kaiser Blood. Impressive, this Kaiser Blood. Jian Wushuang was fixated on him, slightly shocked by what he had done. The three Emperors' world was already on the verge of defeat, so all they had to do was carry on hunting them down, and the enemy would have been left defeated. They could have kept at least half of the enemy forces. But with one move from Kaiser Blood, he directed all the experts to safety immediately. The method was heart-wrenching. Emperor Bai, the Blood Lord located at the center of the Sea of Blood, spoke. Our three Emperors' world's forces were caught off guard this time. You will not be so lucky next time. Kaiser Blood then looked towards Jian Wushuang. Chapter 2152 Victory. Jian Wushuang's expression changed and he looked towards Kaiser Blood. Kaiser Blood looked towards Jian Wushuang in a peculiar way. Jian Wushuang, you have destroyed the three Emperors' world's plans several times. I remember you now. Wait and see, I'll give you a surprise the next time we meet. Haha. A burst of devious laughter echoed around, and Kaiser Blood's figure faded into nothing in front of all the eternal chaotic world experts. The blood-colored sea that had filled the entire Imperial City gradually disappeared as well. The Imperial City went quiet once again. With that, the final battle came to an end. Unfortunately, there was no decisive victory on both sides. Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master, and others gathered above the void. Are you alright, guys? Emperor Bai looked at the great emperors in front of him. The great emperors in front of him were those that had followed Jian Wushuang in the sneak attack. We're fine, but Black Dragon Emperor was hit badly by one three Emperors World Great Emperor, Abysmal Saint Master said. Jian Wushuang immediately looked towards Black Dragon Emperor and found her rather pale in complexion, and her aura had been weakened significantly as well. He frowned. I'm fine, I'll recover over time. Black Dragon Emperor looked at Jian Wushuang and smiled. Jian Wushuang nodded. At this time Ancestor Tianqin walked over. Emperor Bai, the casualties on both sides have been tallied, Ancestor Tianqin said. The crowd looked at Ancestor Tianqin. How is it? Emperor Bai asked. We lost a lot of Sir Gods and Emperor Gods, over 200 of them in total, with more injured. Luckily they had elixirs to recover their injuries and divine powers immediately, if not, we would have suffered greater losses. We only have 3 injured great emperors thankfully, Ancestor Tianqin said. The faces of Jian Wushuang and the others darkened. The battle had been completely to their advantage, but they'd still lost so many almighties? What about the 3 Emperors' world forces? Emperor Bai asked indifferently. Ancestor Tianqin straightened himself and replied in excitement. Preliminary statistics showed that with the treasures like heaven-piercing arrows, blood thunder pearl on our side, we took down 8 great emperors alone. Coupling the Sword Emperor's sneak attack, the 3 Emperors' world lost 12 great emperors. Everyone flinched upon hearing the numbers. 12 great emperors? Before the eternal chaotic world had started the great battle, there had only been 13 allied great emperors known by the Sanctuary Alliance. It was only as the battle began that the hidden experts revealed themselves, increasing Sanctuary Alliance's total of great emperors. Taking down 12 great emperors in one blow must have been a devastating blow to the 3 Emperors' world. The enemy lost even more Sir Gods and Emperor Gods. Ancestor Tianqin said with excitement. The main factor leading to such great numbers is naturally Jian Wushuang's achievement, taking down over 1,000 almighties. Add that to the almighties taken down by our army, and it means the enemy has lost over 1,500 Sir Gods and Emperor Gods. 1,500 almighties? The great emperors around were all shocked. Especially Abysmal Saint Master, Underworld God and King Qin Shing. They had not considered how many they had slaughtered during the fight. Now they realized how many people had fallen at their blades. They were not surprised, nor did they feel guilty about it. After all, the Sir Gods and Emperor Gods they had slaughtered were considered weak to them. In fact, a lot of them were innocent. They did not know a war was going on between both worlds. Slaughtering such almighties brought them no pride or joy at all. But they had no choice. For the eternal chaotic world and the billions of beings living in it, they had to do it. They had no guilt. It's a pity Kaiser Blood appeared at the last minute, allowing the rest to escape so easily, abandoning the entire Imperial City. If not, we could have achieved better results, Ancestor Tianqin said. Jian Wushuang and others nodded. Kaiser Blood was very decisive. Imperial City was the sanctuary grounds of the 3 Emperors' world, possessing huge resources and sites of opportunity. Countless Three Emperors World experts had been stationed there for too long. It was the Three Emperors World's lair. But when Kaiser Blood saw the situation in front of him, he made the decisive decision to forego the lair to protect the experts. This kind of decisiveness was not one that an average man possessed. We were not able to take down all Three Emperors World experts, but their losses are definitely much worse than ours. Emperor Bai said. Regardless, this is definitely the eternal chaotic world's victory. Yes, a victory. Complete victory. The great emperors around all held hands in excitement. Even though they paid the high price of 200 almighties, they took down 1,500 enemy almighties and 12 great emperors. This degree of victory was unprecedented. Our forces were of equal footing with the enemy before this battle. But now, after today, the scales of victory have completely landed on our side. Chapter 2153 Sweeping Three Emperors World. Hearing what Emperor Bai had said, Jian Wushuang and the other great emperors clenched their palms together. They were all elated. Indeed, the battle had turned the tables from being similar in power, to completely overpowering the Three Emperors World to the extent that they had abandoned their lair. The huge amount of resources the Three Emperors World possessed would allow the eternal chaotic world to progress in strength once again. If it went on, the eternal chaotic world forces would eventually emerge victoriously. As an estimation, we have a 70% chance of winning, Ancestor Tianqin said solemnly. 70% was Ancestor Tianqin's estimate. Indeed it was. Even so, we must not let our guard down. The Three Emperors World are led by three ancient era leaders, especially that Kaiser Blood. Emperor Bai's expression changed. He's something else, that Kaiser Blood. Jian Wushuang and the others looked at Emperor Bai. They had all witnessed Emperor Bai fighting it out with Kaiser Blood and seen Emperor Bai at the complete advantage. Obviously Emperor Bai's abilities were about the same as Kaiser Blood's, but as they heard what Emperor Bai had said. If my prediction is correct, Kaiser Blood was not at his best just now. Definitely so, Emperor Bai said. He felt really strong but could not defeat me during the fight. There is only one explanation for this, which is that he had not fully recovered his abilities. In complete form? Abilities not fully recovered? Under those circumstances, if Kaiser Blood could go head-on with Emperor Bai, it meant that his fighting power would be at pinnacle 3rd stage. If he had fully recovered, what stage would that be? 4th stage? We need to be on our guard. The tactics of the ancient era outpower what you all are familiar with today. We must chase them down, we cannot give them room to breathe, Emperor Bai said coldly. But now that the experts have abandoned their lair, we have no way of knowing where they are hiding. How can we chase them? Jian Wushuang frowned. One should at least know where the enemy was in order to chase them down, right? Kaiser Blood's tactics are impressive, creating space tunnels with his blood-tainted ocean. Even I cannot sense where the space tunnels went, if they have left the Three Emperors World or not. If they really wanted to hide, it would not be easy finding them. Emperor Bai's face was sour. But we have no need to find them for now. Our target is the entire Three Emperors World. Emperor Bai, you mean? Jian Wushuang read his mind. Emperor Bai said coldly, the Three Emperors World will never let us off. If we were on the losing side, they would have decimated the billions of lives on the eternal chaotic world. Therefore we cannot go soft on their world either. The Three Emperors World has countless domains and cultivators. This is the foundation of the Three Emperors World. These domains are the ones providing the enemy with cultivators. We must eliminate everything. Of course we cannot be as ruthless as the enemy. We will spare the normal cultivators, but hunt down the high-ranked experts. Jian Wushuang, Ancestor Tianqin, and many other great emperors around were determined. They had all stepped on the bodies of others to reach where they were today. Naturally they would not go easy on the enemy. The 12 states, 84 god mansions, 3,300 domains and countless cultivators of the Three Emperors World. The domains and cultivators were the true foundation of the Three Emperors World. They were not so as crazy to kill every single cultivator, but they could not afford to not take down the elite ones or potentially elite ones. Tianqin, send the word for the army to move off. Get them to sweep and search every single domain. Kill every powerful almighty in sight, even the real gods. Leave the void real gods and eternal real gods aside, but anyone that reaches chaotic real god, kill them. Emperor Bai said coldly. Understood, Ancestor Tianqin nodded. The rest of you make your way forward as well, don't let the enemy defeat us here, Emperor Bai said. Understood, Jian Wushuang, Abysmal Saint Master and others obeyed his command. Before long, They had reorganized Eternal Chaotic World Army and headed for different domains under the command of several great emperors. The largest sweep within three emperors' world had commenced. A hidden domain within the three emperors' world. The three emperors' world experts that had escaped from the imperial city had all gathered there. At the core of the domain, at the dark void above, gathered Kaiser Blood, Lord Fin, Demon King Chinyu and Lung Rushua. Even though Ba Su was a third-stage great emperor, his measly status gave him no right to be there. The faces of the four were extremely ugly. We have received the news. The Eternal Chaotic World Army has moved out from the imperial city, and has started sweeping every domain. They are wiping out all the high-ranked experts we have, Kaiser Blood said coldly, but anyone could tell his tone was full of murderous intent. Eternal Chaotic World. Emperor Bai. And that Jianghu Shuang. Damn it, damn it. Demon King Chinyu was bawling. This time we were outplayed by Emperor Bai, Lord Fin said. The token Jianghu Shuang crushed was a void token if I'm not mistaken. A rare token even in our era. A void token, a carefully thought-out plan for Jianghu Shuang and others to hit us unexpectedly, dealing as much damage as possible. Then they lured all the experts over, finally using the token to send their army over to wipe us out. Vicious. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.